You know what to do with the guards. I'll wait here.
Watch me make a pitch deck in less than 60 seconds. First, I pick a template from Beautiful AI. They have hundreds of options that are all professionally designed with AI smart slides. You can also use their AI presentation maker to get a draft instantly. Just enter whatever it is you're working on and watch it generate a compelling presentation of AI smart slides. So much faster and easier. Not only will your slides look good, but Beautiful AI shows you the order you should present your information in and what the focus of each slide should be. In less than a minute, you've got something great looking and effective. The look and feel of these smart slides can be edited to follow your branding, tone, and of course, information. And you can review them and make any changes super easily. They also make it easier to further customize presentations based on what you need. For example, adding a team member or a data point. And if there's a slide you need, you can browse their collection of smart slide templates for whatever you're looking for. So check out Beautiful AI and start your free trial today.
Friend, which is kind of weird. Anyways, Kimberly, sorry, I had to look up her name. Kimberly decides to go confront Clear, and she finds out that she is voluntarily held up in a padded cell, which, hey, kind of genius. She explains that because the cop intervened on Kimberly's death, people are dying in reverse order of how they would have died in the crash, which I guess might make sense to you if you're the writer of this movie, but I didn't write this movie, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, where these rules are coming from. But Clear is kind of being, like, weird and mischievous in this scene. She smirks at Kimberly. I don't know, it's kind of weird. And the acting is just a bit rough here.
If I don't find them, they're gonna die.
Next, we get my favorite part of this movie, where we catch up with this kid at the dentist's office. This kid says this to his mom.
She gives me the gas and I can bring in some buttons.
What the hell, dude? But setting a Final Destination sequence in a dentist's office is pretty genius. Some hijinks occur, his nitrous gets pumped up while his O2 gets shut off. I mean, Brad's getting cheesed up, but then everything seemingly turns out okay. Until they show up to warn this kid about the pigeon. And for some reason, this prompts the kid to, like, run towards the pigeon like a little 3-year-old brainless toddler, which leads to this glass pane falling on him, quite literally atomizing him. Oh my god, dude. This scene made me laugh so hard. I love it so much. It's so dumb. They all want to get together to talk after, and he's like, she won't leave herself. And we see a body bag getting lifted into the car. But, like, what's in that bag there? Nothing but loose soup, basically. I saw what that glass pane did to that kid, okay? But yeah, there's a lot of acting moments in this movie. Like, where someone's like, a 15-year-old kid died. And Claire just looks like she's trying not to laugh. They then talk to William Bloodworth, and tells them that new life can create a fresh start or something. And this makes them decide that as long as this pregnant lady who was supposed to die in the crash successfully gives birth, then that somehow will save all of them.
Seems like a bit of a race.
How do you think so? Next, we have this awesome elevator death scene. This guy, like, randomly gets the mom's hair caught on his, like, box of hook hair. For a GLP-1 pill this way? So, I never typically see this. I've always been a big guy, but because I noticed how unhealthy I just wanted to feel healthy. And my friend told me about it and lost my hair. Skims is now offering a affordable GLP-1 that's FDA approved for weight loss. You can get started for just $39 a month with an active Things membership. You take an online assessment, then connect with a licensed provider. Determine if the prescription is right for you. Are you ready to see progress? Take the online consultation to get started. Strategy, design, experience, technology. What we need of creating is none of those, but meaning brands, cultural relevance, and emotional content. I worked in this way that was like trying to put ourselves at the end of the finished result as early as possible. That can be tough just because it's not visualize the airport so having more of it means there, it gives us a better idea of whether it's the neighborhood for the or just the neighborhood story. The technique we described it, which is like a compressed workflow, a very complicated workflow we made, and then
Just picked up by someone other than myself as a way to use that same workflow, and they could make small modifications to it, but that would be relatively similar to what I did.
You're thinking, how can we celebrate creativity? I think that's how we end up with two different directions. So I feel like having this reference generator, it kind of gives you that you manipulate results in a short amount of time. You know, you take whatever this thing generated as a starting point, and then you try to push it further.
This narrow generator, we ended up doing something that we thought was unexpected and reflected our personality as a student.
It's less about making a function to more
perhaps in terms of the aesthetic feel, take over as I think that with the introduction of AI, that relationship between the studio and the client, I think is going to change. When we end up handing over the future, is going to be super different than what we're currently doing now. For instance, with Laura, the technique could totally be something that is part of
absolutely. That allows for radiation, system making, and then them deploying that system and being able to use the same or similar tool to actually control the deployment, project the ability to evolve the system. And so that continuous process in the world, if over there, that would be amazing. Like something you're already asking.
This death leads the skeptical turtleneck guy to freak out, which is just
They're stealing the gunpowder! Stop them! Stop them!
It's so not crazy. These are extenuating circumstances, so now I'm not being insane.
He won't have his blood!
They're all one way or another connected to the events of the first movie. This lady who's been spoken as a Lucy Dobbs, and have you guys heard of her? Most that very chain of the first movie. And this is what he said. Yes, I remember that. They better get it killed anyway. They were telling us so we can call it the deaths of the first movie. And this does like I said, deaths doesn't make any sense. But then they lost get their so is anybody in this world it's being trying to hold the way people drive in this movie. So they get in this car accident. These PVC pipes getting impaled into the back of their head. The primetime lady is still stuck in the car. And the heroic firefighters show up to get her out of the car. And this happens. I'll just put her on.
Can't get out!
What did we just say, dude? In some alternate hell universe where everyone is as reckless as us. This idiot's like, it's a great chain of events that leads to the cokehead guy getting just dismembered with fire. Oh, the baby was born alright. It seems to be until transparent water gets her blood with smithereen when she tries to open this. And that's the end of her, I guess. Damn, that shot was absurd. So Kimberly realizes that the pregnant lady was never supposed to die in the car accident after all, and she decides that to beat death's design, she has to drive an ambulance into the lake and, like, drown herself, and that will do something. I swear this shit is just weird. So she does that, and the car doesn't either. I swear he flogged the hell out of that drive. That was not fair. So she gets resuscitated, and everything seems to be A-okay, but if she dies, but then comes back, does that clean the slate, or is it still gonna then skip her and go, okay, that's unclear. This is touched on in the last movie of the series, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But they go back to the house where they used the car earlier to, like, have dinner with these random people, but it's revealed to them that the kid was saved that day by the coke addict intervening on Death's design.
Are you fucking me? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
That actually got a loud ass belly laugh in the article on the dinner plate up to blood. Genuinely, what a great idea. That's Final Destination K. A really strong follow-up, and pretty much everything a great sequel should be that does everything better than the first one. It's a bit convoluted, and it spends a little bit too much time obsessing over the events of the first movie instead of charting its own path. But for the most part, I did enjoy it more than the first one, so I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5. Final Destination 3. This is the one with Mary Elizabeth Winstead. We start out at an amusement park. Wendy is our main character, and she's taking pictures for the school yearbook. And yeah, dude, let's just say we're back in horny skating Kevin, the other lead character, steals her camera to try to snap an upskirt of just someone walking by, while his girlfriend is just sitting right next to him. Alright, man, at the park, there's also these two hot bimbas. And following them around is the horniest character in the entire series, Frankie Cheeks. So I just have to say, like, what is the point of the inclusion of a character like Frankie Cheeks? Do they think it's, like, super funny? A character whose only existence is to ceaselessly sexually harass all the other characters? But hey, maybe this is 2006, so honk honk. Anyway, the inciting disaster in this installment is the roller coaster going crazy and essentially just flinging everyone off. I don't know if this scene quite hit the same for me as opposed to the other two ones. I know this scared the hell out of a ton of kids when this came out, and everyone might have liked roller coaster. But just watching it now, the effects of this scene don't quite hold up the best. I don't know why. This whole scene was really giving me almost like Spy Kids vibe. Wendy has her premonition and gets off the ride, and her boyfriend wants to get off too, but for some reason they just like don't let him get off. This was really weird. The school is reeling from the disaster. I kind of like the way they showed the other students like treating Wendy like these little high school dumbass kids have no idea how to support someone breathing. And it just shows how profoundly stupid teenagers can really be. Also, there's a line in this movie that took me off guard. We get this incredible scene where Wendy says,
That you give anything, it's not a second chance.
that was just pretty poignant. It kind of speaks to what the heart and soul of this entire franchise is about. I mean, what if you got a second chance? It's not the deepest thing in the world by any means, but I didn't really expect anything in these movies to resonate with me, but that definitely did. But here's where we get the tanning bed scene. This is just beautiful stuff, honestly. This is Final Destination operating at the height of its power. Fun, wacky depths, with great setup and payoff, with incredible creative editing. This is what it's all about. Here's where they start to piece things together and we get the connection to the other movies. Wendy takes out these pictures. It shows that you can capture signs in images before disaster strikes. The most baffling moment in the movie. She shows a photo of the tower. Putting that in the movie really necessary to get her point across? Like, am I crazy, or is that just an insane thing to put in this movie? So they piece together that Mr. Franklin Cheeks will be the next one to go. I'm trying to figure out the song. It's like a rise of the amusement park, and it comes out of that SpongeBob lives underwater, and for some reason, Wendy's like, it's SpongeBob. It's underwater, like, sorry, it's like, it's fucking rough. You know, like Patrick stopped a really funny moment where off in the distance, the truck driver is chasing his truck down the road, just screaming, "Oh my God!" They get stuck at the McDonald's drive-thru, and for some reason, nobody wants to survive. I guess McDonald's is way too hard to even consider moving your car slightly out of the way. This is where we say goodbye to Frankie Cheeks. But they realize that all the pictures that Wendy took the night of the disaster can lead them to figure out how each of the characters is going to. This is definitely a fun framing device. It's something that actually sets this movie apart from other. Next, we go to the school gym. One thing that is so special about this franchise is that all the movie has to do is a weight room, and you just instantly cringe. But yeah, the recklessness of people in this universe continues to be so comical. People just running around doing random, dangerous bullshit at all times. We get this incredible moment. Maybe I just win. Why it's so hard to stop people from themselves, but apparently it's the hardest thing. Next, we meet up with the goth kids of this school. These two high school kids apparently work after hours at this giant department store with absolutely no supervision and have complete access to every piece of heavy-duty machinery. But Wendy shows them their picture and explains it, and for some reason, the girl is like,
So I get this straight. I'm gonna OD on nail polish.
obviously he's gonna getting nail polish for us. So things happen exactly how you might expect that they're gonna happen. Yeah, with no supervision, I mean, this was bound to occur whether they were part of Death's design or not, right? At this point in the movie, it is revealed that the other person who was supposed to be on the roller coaster turns out to be Wendy's annoying-ass little sister. The ending of this movie is set at another festival, and Kevin is working security. There's a funny moment where he finds out that the picture of him signals what his death is gonna be. But he needs to try and help Wendy's little sister. In my opinion, screw this little girl and her little double middle finger move. But he manages to save the sister, but then Mom Devil 47 employs the elite getting directly. And then when he makes it, McKinley shows back up, but he's all crazy now. The crazy person, and I'm gonna kill you. Luckily, he gets obliterated in a scene which looks amazing, and everything seems to be a-okay as we flash forward 5 months. But of course, in Final Destination, there can be no happy ending. It's revealed that all 3 of the survivors find themselves on the same train. It is what happens next.
I'm used to that to people. Snap flash on features all transparency. Sometimes they change the brain about when it's going to reach people, so I put pieces with words and it's not close to its visuals.
Yeah, that was Final Destination 3. At this point, the series was just going really slowly, and every entry was pretty much been better than the last one. So this is kind of like another creative this level of quality is up and let's see this level of quality. My destination little crap. Beat around the bush with this one. This was a straight up miserable experience. This is 2009's The Final Destination, aka Final Destination 3D. Yeah, I don't know why they called this movie The Final Destination. What the hell is that, dude? That already pisses me the hell off. Starting here. This is the one that starts off with a disaster on the racetrack, and this scene is abysmal. So a crash happened on the speedway, and just tires and shit start flying off and tearing through the crowd. There's this really funny shot where this woman is just crushed by a flying It's gonna be okay. With these 2 characters crushed by falling debris, it just looks terrible. effects in this one, but oh my god, bro. This one you can tell right away that this is the 3D one, because they keep having everything just pointing into the camera, like into the lens. Get the most out of the 3D technology. It's just really obnoxious. I'm sorry, this movie just looks like shit all over. Anyway, knock off Joseph Gordon-Levitt looking ass here has the vision and they leave the trap, only for a tire to come flying out of the distance and just oh, dude. Again, why did they call it that? Was this meant the dialogue in the movie is god awful as well? Sure, says or tails, but you know, like this dude is obviously the horniest of all horny best friend characters. We're basically a paint by numbers character. This movie also has no connection to the other one outside of the racetrack being called McKinley Speedway, which is what the school was called in the third one. So I guess that counts as a connection, but like we're truly in bare minimum territory here. The guy in this one gets like extra vision throughout the movie, and they have these shitty little CGI animations whenever he sees what's gonna happen. Anyway, the first death is this side plot about this racist guy who wants to put the burning crumbs on the lawn of the security guard from the racetrack. Okay, dude? Like, was it necessary to have this in a movie? We just drive down the street and then blows up into a really forgettable scene. Then it cuts to the main girlfriend watching cartoon. In the cartoon, it's like a character on fire, but she's like laughing really hard while watching it. It's really great. Like, this is her favorite show or something. Like, this is her show. The main girlfriend in this movie is the actress who plays Firecracker in the movie. I just thought that was interesting. Yes, I am referring to her as main girlfriend because that's as much characterization as the movie literally gives her. The next scene is a hair salon sequence where the woman who was crushed by an engine block goes to get her hair done. It's actually a pretty effective sequence. A lot goes on, but we kind of just get like a bunch of fake outs. And then at the very end, Lawnmower kicks up a rock that goes through her eye. Kind of anticlimactic. But I guess it was a fine enough scene. Also, I looked up the character names for that. I saw that her character was credited as Milk. Are you fucking kidding me? To these guys talking about it, and the horny best friend is like, we just lost a really hot MILF. Dude, this is serious. Like, oh my god, dude. This movie, like, we're just asleep at the wheel here. We are not trying at all. Then the main guy gets another vision, but in this vision, we hear some goofy-ass sound effects. Those are definitely some stock scream sound effects.
By now you have surely seen the habit the rebels seek. A plan forms in my mind, but we must act fast. To receive your new orders, find me in the graveyard, my last safe refuge in the city. Make haste.
So this is his job. Would he not be potentially getting in a lot of trouble for doing that? So they decide that there's a chain of death. People are dying in order. If they intervene, they can break the chain. Oh my god, it's becoming so like rinse and repeat at this point. Anyways, they go see the mechanic who's next in the chain. While they're talking to him, they're like on either side of this like fence made of swords. It's like this crisscrossing fence that's not like chain link. It's like long pieces of metal. Then the sequence plays out, and I have to say the scene is edited so poorly. Like the editing is preposterously bad. The time is completely off. Everything is rough. It's awful. But yeah, he dies. The next scene, Nick sees this sign that says Clear Rivers. Dude, I guess that's another reference to the first one, but it's just so dumb. It reminds me how dumb that name was the first one. I've seen these two characters facing death, and they're on scenarios simultaneously.
I came the moment I received your message.
I had a nightmare. I dreamt that you turned... No. Never mind. I wonder if you would humor your old mentor with a show of loyalty.
Agate, I need not humor you. I am loyal. What do you need?
I don't know what you and Monsieur Blanc have been conspiring, but it is clear that now, amid the chaos of the riot, Oyor will finally be forced to leave La Balise and negotiate for peace. Our moment is now. With the kidnapper dead and safety restored, my mission will be complete. I will find peace. There is only one path the governor can take. The others are barricaded or in flames. You must prepare an ambush and strike at just the right moment. Find him and kill him.
Everything I need for an ambush.
That shit was retarded.
It's in like the car wash. I'm really sure what was about to happen. And she's like screaming bloody murder, but her head is just going slowly towards like a scrubbing thing. Like that was not going to kill her. Somehow they knew that she was in there, and to drive their car into the car wash at that exact moment. I don't know. I mean, whatever. The horny-ass guy ends up getting his butt all sucked out at the bottom of the pool by the pool drain, and his intestines get sucked out of his ass. It's pretty funny. So they can't figure out how to move the plot forward, so they just have water pour onto a newspaper and give them a clip. Oh my god, this movie is so unbelievably lazy. They go to the security guard's house, and he's just trying to tell. Then they pop some champagne because they decide they beat a death's design. The cork flies into your eye, and the guy who's just intent.
Be safe, text me.
Cheers and says, "To life." To life. Alright, dude. Also, this guy, no joke, says, "I'm not taking another day for granted." I'm gonna take another day for granted. But we're not out of the woods yet. Someone else survived the racetrack that day, so they got the order. They start discussing their plans in the middle of a packed elevator, which is actually a pretty funny scene. And then they fail to save the guy. Good job, team. And then out of nowhere, the security guard gets hit by an ambulance. I guess it's trying to call back to the first one, but it just felt lazy to me. The ambulance is coming from a direction which is in full view of both of them. It's just so dumb. So the girlfriends are having their day at the mall, and she has to buy sneakers because Nick likes me in sneaks.
Bottom for Nick. He likes me in sneaks.
Dialogue is that, dude? Come on. They go to see some 3D movie. I guess it's supposed to be like meta, but the way the audience is reacting to the 3D technology is bogus. This movie is 3D propaganda, and this movie just does not care anymore. So there's like construction going on behind the movie screen where there's just a stack of explosive cartoon barrels. I hope nobody lights a fire next to our spontaneously combustible barrels. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt gets another vision, and he's able to stop another disaster from happening. And then at the end of the movie, they all get back together at the coffee shop, where he's like, "What if this is where we were supposed to die?" And a truck barrels through the window, killing them all in this like weird skeleton CGI. Damn, dude, just thank God that's over. That was so bad, dude. Honestly, if you want to watch all of these movies, you can just skip this one. I'm giving The Final Destination a 1 out of 5.
That moment when you find yourself back at West to reach people that aren't on social media, it's mobile games, and AppLovin is the platform to reach them. And here's the part that nobody talks about. There are over 1 billion users playing mobile games. It's a daily habit, not a once in a while thing. They actually watch ads in exchange for extra lives, bonuses, or to pass a month. Picture a 38-year-old parent playing solitaire on their computer. They make the household purchase decisions, they shop online weekly, and they're a secret who you're trying to reach. AppLovin runs 9x16 ads full screen with a 35-second video.
Next, we got Final Destination 5. This is the one where, for some reason, I thought I had never seen it. But while watching, I realized I had like a ton of memories of every scene. So yeah, anyway, this one definitely helps to get things back on track after what we just experienced with the last movie. This movie starts with a corporate retreat. We get the introductions of all our main characters, and there's some tropes here you might recognize. We get our main guy, his girlfriend, his best friend, and his best friend's girlfriend. There's also the office siren, and of course, a horny-ass freak character. One thing I kind of noticed with this one is it's like a lot quippier than the other movies. Like, it seems like they're trying really hard to make a borderline comedy film. There's a lot of like improv-y feeling dialogue, and it also has David Koechner in it, and he's playing his same old classic character that you'd expect him to play. That also plays into the comedic elements of this. So this movie starts out with a bridge collapse disaster, and I think this is a really good, amazing movie. the bus for some reason. Candace decides to like jump over the barrier and go over here instead of like running directly away from the cracking road. Like, what was the thought process there? David Cogner gets like hot tar in the face, which is absolutely brutal. One interesting thing is Sam actually manages to save his girlfriend Molly. So I feel like that's a new little wrinkle in the main character actually. So after he manages to go back and save them from the disaster, see them getting interviewed, and the cop is convinced that Sam is like a terrorist. It is proof of this, and then he finds out that his girlfriend had just broken up with him. He's like, did you say ex-girlfriend? Yes. Bitch was nothing in British. After this, though, we get the long-awaited return of William Blood, which was very nice. He has so much aura. He gives them a new rule in this movie, and that rule is basically if you're able to kill someone, you take their place, and you get, like, whatever remaining years they were supposed to get. Finally, a new idea in this franchise, man. Let's go. But after this, oh boy, we get the gymnastics scene. This, to me, is the quintessential Final Destination sequence. Let's go, okay. Everything about this scene is perfect. The building of tension, the cringe-inducing editing, and when everything finally goes on, all the elements fall into place. You get a new fear of something that never not even have a fear of. That was so well done. But yeah, Candace dies here, and people are really sensitive about it.
Yeah, it's a bummer about Candace.
Get an acupuncture scene with the horny-ass Greek character. Dude, this really is so annoying. It's just Frankie Cheeks all over again. I don't know why these movies just insist on having characters like that.
Yum, yum, dim sum.
Anyway, we get a really drawn-out sequence that's supposed to be funny, where the masseuse is manhandling him, and then a fireman. And for some reason, he doesn't just get up. No. Instead, he just rolls over onto the ground, and then a big Buddha statue falls on his head. Okay, the scene is fine. I don't know. So they surmise that Molly is actually not part of Death's design, and this, like, really pisses Peter off. It just cracks me up, because he's like, oh, what, so you saved her? And not me. Alright, fuck you, dude. And then we have the skeptical guy, because there's always the skeptical guy who rolls his eyes, and he's like, Death's list? Really? You expect me to believe that? What's next? Bigfoot? But what follows is probably one of, if not the most iconic shot of the series, and that's the LASIK eye surgery scene. This is a hard one to watch. So this one starts off with water pouring on an outlet, which I'm realizing now is how 99.9% of every Final Destination death scenes are. If you ever want to survive, apparently, make sure no water goes near any outlet, or else a 50 megawatt laser beam will shoot you in your freaking eye. But this is definitely an effective and brutal scene. After this, we see Nathan beefing with the union rep at the factory, and he accidentally just kills this dude. What, you okay now? There, and he gets his remaining year. This is then followed by the sudden death of David Hector. He was even in this movie. I don't know what he's been doing. For some reason, after this, Sam just decides everything's sweet. He's like, we can't live the rest of our lives in pain, which is just weird because he just saw what happened to the other guy. What about that? It's still true with confidence. But at this point in the movie, Peter decides to just go absolutely bonkers. He shows up at the restaurant and he's talking about how he could kill someone, but not someone who doesn't deserve it. But then he also gets pissed off that Molly deserves to live. I can't kill someone who doesn't deserve it, but then why does Molly deserve to live? I'm gonna kill you. I don't understand his line of thinking at all, but he comes to the conclusion that he's gonna shoot Molly in the head with a gun. Okay, at this point in the movie, I feel like we really jumped the shark completely. He goes crazy and he hunts them down like a deranged serial killer. And then in the middle of this chase scene, the FBI agent shows up out of nowhere. How did he know where to find them, and how did he walk into this situation without seeing them like all fighting each other? It makes no sense, but Peter takes this opportunity to just gun him down in cold blood. What's going on? It's amazing. Sam is then able to sneak up on him and take him out. Okay. Let's go. We're not quite done. We flash forward to them getting on a plane to Paris. Paris sound familiar? And it's revealed that this whole movie was actually a prequel to the first one. And the plane they're on is Flight 180. People have seen the characters from the first movie freaking out and leaving the plane. This is so funny because in the scene in the first movie, it makes such an obvious emotion. Like, there's no way that Sam did not just hear Alex say, the plane is gonna crash, we're all gonna die. So it's like he just completely ignored that could stay on the plane. They play it off by having someone say, "What's that about?" He said the plane was gonna crash. Crazy guy. Sam's like, "Oh, sure." There's really the burden freaking. So yeah, the plane explodes, and there's this great little moment where the wheels fall out of the sky. That's the need there. And someone saying like, shame about Roy, but he was gonna die really soon, and he wheels crashed down on it. And it's Final Destination. They really play this off like it's the last one. I guess it's fun that it connects to the first one, and yeah, the connection feels really pointless. It doesn't reveal anything about the lore or the franchise. It's like, oh, the characters from this movie were actually there for the first five. This was one movie, definitely more middle of the road than true. A solid send-off to the series nonetheless. Even though five, like really average. Did we know this wouldn't be the final send-off of the series? Because another movie came out in the big year of 2020. My dad is going out. And here we go. Final Destination 6, Bloodlines, baby. Let's do this. When everyone heard this movie was coming out, people were intrigued. What will it be like? What will it be about? It turned out to be the one thing nobody expected it to be. Good. So I have to say, this movie has one of the best, if not the best, Final Destination opening sequences. We follow a young couple to the top of a Space Needle-like structure. There's like this little shit of a kid running around throwing pennies. But it's really funny the way this is framed, because they go to the top of the building, the guy proposes, and she reveals she's pregnant. It's really like, we can't get any better than this. And then the building starts falling apart and everyone dies. That kid is like pushing people out of the way. Old ladies are getting set on fire. This old bastard gets cut in half by the elevator. And we get an extremely satisfying child obliteration. And then it's only her and this little kid left alive, only for them to fall. And I'm not kidding you. Her new wedding ring gets caught on some debris, and it like degloves her finger. Jesus. But after that, we cut to present day, and the granddaughter of who we saw in that vision is now having nightmares. Introduced to the extended family, and basically nobody fucks with our main character for some reason. I guess it's revealed that she went to college and like lost contact with everyone. They're like really dismissive of her. But Stephanie manages to get a bit of information on her grandmother, and that leads her to this absolutely insane like apocalypse bunker in the forest where the grandmother apparently lives. Like, how did she build this shit? Yeah, she's been held up in like this castle like 20 years, pretty long dead. But this shit is so insane. I feel like it's the opposite of the kind of structure you would want to live in if you're trying to ward off death. There's just like massive, dangerous spikes everywhere. Again, how did she build this? But anyway, so it's revealed that since she saved herself and everyone that dead, family line was never supposed to let it. Death is now coming for everyone in the family one by one. And to prove it to Stephanie, the grandma decides to take one step out of the cab where a giant steel rod just explodes her head. Like 20 years of evading death just for that? All it took was her literally stepping out onto the welcome mat. Also, the gore in this one is like really cartoony. Not that all of the movies aren't cartoony. I don't know if it's just the CGI or what, but everything is very like gelatinous. After this, the family decides to have a fun little backyard barbecue where a whole bunch of dangerous stuff comes into play. But I feel like half of this shit is not Death's design. It's like their own fault. Like Bobby breaks a glass over the ice bin and then doesn't throw out the ice. He just leaves it. Alright, dude, no, for sure. And then jumping on top of a trampoline with a rake under it. No Rube Goldberg craziness like made the rake fall under the trampoline. Someone just like put that there and left it at some point. But it all culminates in the dad falling over and having his head just torn out by the lawnmower. Which, just the way it happened was very funny to me. I just got a good laugh.
I got to warn you of your flight to Mexico. Do you intend to abandon your business and the slaves in New Orleans? What about your family?
I'm sorry, but
My father sends me to Cuba to find suppliers with his blessing. And you're more than fit to run the business in my absence. I must follow our enemy.
And when were you going to tell me?
I couldn't risk you trying to stop me.
Is this all you see? Business, orders. Have you? I care for you.
Gerald, don't be angry. You know we cannot mix feelings with words. I had hoped to spare...
Since I know I cannot stop you, is there any last assistance I can provide?
I admit my plan to board the ship is clumsy.
There's a compound nearby, where slaves are held, slaves bound to Mexico. You can gain access to the ship by blending inside.
I won't be able to take my weapons.
Well, how will you defend yourself? Right. Silly questions. I'll hold them for you until you return.
Thank you, Gerard. You're a true friend.
Guessing if they do a seventh movie, they'll bring her back. So Eric decides he's gonna kill Bobby by feeding him peanuts, and then let him die and bring him back to life. Which is honestly a great plan. They just go about it with horrible execution. For some reason they all split up and don't talk about what they're doing with each other. So they hide out in this MRI room, and something happens. Probably some water gets poured out of the outlet, but the machine turns on to extra research powers. So are there maggots in MRI machines? I don't know if that's how it works. But in this movie, the magnet becomes so strong that it starts sucking in all the metal. There's this really cool moment where this dude's piercings are getting ripped off, hands down to his pants. And I think it's inferring that his Prince Albert is getting ripped off. Well, that's all. This leads to the death of these two nincompoops. They figure out that the only way for the kids to be okay is if the mom locks herself in that cabin for the rest of her life, which is just a great plan. There's also a little moment where her first move is just to instantly drive into oncoming traffic without looking. Then they almost die, where she's like, okay, maybe you should drive. Okay, but that wasn't Death's design. That was just you being an idiot. One thing I noticed about this movie is that it's definitely the longest one. I'm not saying it's strictly a bad thing. I think every other Final Destination movie clocks in at about 90 minutes on the dot. And this one has an extra 20-25 minutes on top of that, which I do think hurts the pacing of this slightly, and I swear we just lost the recipe for a 90-minute movie years ago. It just doesn't happen anymore. Unfortunately, when we get to the cabin, it basically instantly blows up. Stephanie gets trapped underwater, and Darlene does her best to stay alive as long as she can. Stephanie drowned, but her kid brother is able to resuscitate her. They did drop a line earlier about him being in junior lifeguard. So, good job, movie. Pretty smart. And they live happily ever. I'm just kidding, a train derails and kills. So yeah, that was Final Destination Bloodline. Honestly, this is way better than it has any right to be. Really refreshing, and it makes me really excited. Even more Final Destination movies possibly coming out in the future. I've seen some people getting carried away saying that this is the best one in the series by far. I think that's a bit crazy in my opinion, though I did enjoy this film a lot. I think I would give this one another 3.5 out of 5.
I needed some inspiration from algorithm, so I asked ChatGPT to help me. It was so useful to brainstorm algorithm for different occasions like work, going out, running errands, and date night.
Let's get into the final rankings of these movies. Absolute dog shit to the least of the bad. First and undeniably last is The Final Destination, aka Final Destination. This truly was shit criminalized. For real, this was a miserable experience. What the hell happened? Next, I got Final Destination 5. Well, definitely an enjoyable flick with some of my favorite scenes in the series. Still just has some lows in it that make it lower than the other movie. Afterwards, I got Final Destination 1, the one that started it all. I really enjoyed this film, but it's definitely more quaint and simple compared to what comes after. Starting off the top 3, I was fixing these around a bit, but I think I got unnecessary a great modern entry. It just didn't make me laugh quite as much as these next two. After that, I do keep switching the top two, but I think I got Final Destination 2. This was just so funny, so entertaining, so many iconic moments, but it's just a little convoluted and pretty dumb. And last but not least, aka the opposite of least, because it's the first, it's the best one. I'm saying it's the best. I feel like most people would have this one as their number one. It's just the best one. It's the perfect Final Destination movie. It's the most fun and entertaining movie in the series. The highest number of killer scenes. This actual creative idea of using pictures to figure out how people are going to die. And it's definitely the one I would not mind rewatching. Okay, guys, it was the Final Destination video. Thank you so much for watching. I've been working on this for way too damn long. Let me know your rankings of the movies down below. Thank you so much to my patrons. You guys would like to support me, my Patreon's in the description. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye, kisses. Watch out for this This video is sponsored by SeatGeek, which we'll get to later. What's good? Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome back to the Jay Cote channel. We're in holiday mood here, except the sweater I got for this, it must have been an infant size because it's squeezing the life out of me. Also, I'm trying out the mustache, so let me know. We'll see if I keep it. Humanity has achieved many great things. The internet, architectural wonders, vaccines, human rights, landing man, Star Wars. Now, are the Star Wars movies humanity's greatest achievement? No one can say for sure, but yeah. So what is it that's so special about Star Wars? It's a multimedia franchise spanning over 48 years now and has absolutely no end in sight. Basically, one enduring movie sparked the love of millions and millions of diehard fans. A fandom that becomes borderline cult-like at times, and most of the time. It all started with Luke, Han, and Leia, and Droopy McCool. And here we are, decades later, still complaining about Star Wars on YouTube. People like Star Wars so much that crying about it on the internet is genuinely a career move. I think it is just a testament to how transcendent those original films really are, that there's still such a rabid fan base for this franchise, even after getting abused and mistreated time after time after time. There's one piece of bad Star Wars media that just stands head and shoulders above all the others. Without darkness, there can be no light. And we would never be able to appreciate the truly special movies without the special kind of dog performance. Holiday special. That's right. Today we're going to be talking about the infamous Star Wars Holiday Special. So grab a glass of your blue nog, your plate of Fanta Surprise, and let's drop in. While this holiday special may provide you with some musical performances that you can enjoy from the comfort of your own couch, I think we both know that it's absolutely no replacement for the experience of experiencing live events from the comfort of your actual body. By leaving your house, I wanted to give the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, a huge shout. SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app with over 35 million downloads. Whether you're into sports, music, concerts, festivals, or more, there are over 70,000 events listed on the MLS. SeatGeek has your back by giving each ticket a rating on a scale of 1 through 10, so you know if you're getting a good deal or not. Green for good, red for bad. Just like lightsabers, baby. Star Wars, not to mention that every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. Right this very second, you can get tickets to Lord, Lady Gaga, Halsey, Cardi B, and don't make me remind you that the NFL and college football playoffs are right around the corner. Basically, I'm begging you to leave your house. I personally use SeatGeek to secure myself tickets to showing of the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring with live orchestra here in Chicago at the Auditorium Theater, which is something I've always wanted to do. I genuinely cannot freaking wait. So with the holiday season just around the corner, give the gift of tickets this year and use code J10 for 10% off your SeatGeek ticket. That is 10% off tickets with promo code J10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you so much to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. Back to the video. The Star Wars Holiday Special came out on CBS in 1978, 1 year after the original Star Wars movie was released. It was broadcast only once and never got any sort of home video release, so yeah, its existence is basically not acknowledged by Disney or Lucasfilm, except for one reference to Life Day in The Mandalorian Season 1.
I was hoping to be free for Life Day,
which is kind of crazy. It kind of became a cult legend just because of how awful it is. Yeah, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Remember to tell you that I had a little piece of tape right now. I had always heard references and jokes about it in other shows and media, but you have no idea what this thing is and what it can do to you until you actually experience it for yourself. And the fact that they even got the core cast involved in this is unbelievable. When I say that this is a singular experience, unlike anything I've ever seen in my life or ever will see, I'm not exaggerating. I'm pretty sure my jaw was halfway open for most of the run. Film critic Nathan Rabin put it like this, quote, "I'm not convinced the special wasn't ultimately written and directed by a sentient bag of cocaine." And that is just so So even though George is uncredited, and him and his team obviously had nothing to do with the production of this in any way, I do think it's kind of funny that it was his idea for it to be about a Wookiee family. And of course they told George that it was probably a bad idea to do an entire movie about characters that can only grunt and don't have subtitles. So he apparently planted his feet on this. This Wookiee idea is so George, and I find it so fucking funny. Thinking about how he basically boxed the TV company in with this idea, and then that was his only input as he left to go work on Empire. Anyway, let's get into this. So we begin with Han and Chewie trying to get back to Chewbacca's home planet of Kashyyyk for Life Day. This is also the introduction of Chewbacca's planet, Kashyyyk, and which was used in later movies and media. At least I think it's Kashyyyk, because in this movie they call it they're being pursued by Imperial forces. And just right off the bat, Harrison Ford's barely veiled, or not even barely veiled, just unveiled rage at even having to be there is just on full display. I know it's an important day. We get our title cards and we see that they somehow got the entire cast to do this, but they're all just looking very strange. Mark Hamill was in a really serious car accident in between filming movies, so the solution was to cover him in as much makeup as possible. Harrison Ford does this sarcastic ass salute to the camera, and we get Carrie Fisher, and I don't really know what it is about this, but her eyes look insane. They look like they're looking off in different directions. But either way, even just mere moments into this, it already feels like an insane fever dream, and we're only going to go deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. We cut to Chewie's family. We get his wife Mala, his father Itchy, and his son Lumpy. So as you've probably noticed so far, nothing is about this is indicative of Star Wars in any way. The set design almost just looks normal, like they just repurposed a sitcom set and just spruced it up with random sci-fi stuff. So for the next 10 minutes, we watch these three Wookiees go about their business and listen to their ear-piercing grunting eternity, and you just start to forget the sound of human language and what your purpose is on this mortal coin. And you start to ask yourself, what the fuck am I doing with my life? When I was a kid, was it my dream to grow up and watch a holiday TV special made by drunken, chain-smoking drug addicts for a budget of what I can only assume was $23 so that I could talk about it on the internet? Yes. And then Lumpy puts a cassette tape into their hologram table, and we watch a tiny circus play. This scary little bearded elf man dances around while these costumed freaks roll around and juggle and perform acrobatics to just the absolute delight of Lumpy. He is loving this shit. And the whole time, the most insane, head-splitting song is just playing on repeat until you become delirious. There's even a moment where that bearded elf man jumps off the table and becomes big so he can direct his acrobats. It's actually kind of scary to me. This is so weird. And it goes on for so long. You know that not one word of human spoken dialogue has been said out loud. 15 minutes. After this, the family finally gets a FaceTime call from Luke Skywalker. And what happens next is just baffling. And also take a shot every time I say baffling, because that's really the only way to describe most of this. I do have to say bless Mark Hamill's heart here, because it's obvious he's trying. He's really wanting to give like a really chipper version of Luke Skywalker. But this scene is basically just Luke checking in and finding out that Han and Chewie aren't there yet. He even says like, but then he completely just shrugs this off and tells Mullen not to worry about it. Even going so far as to do that thing that creepy-ass guys do when they tell girls they should smile. That's better. And it's like, hey Luke, for all you know now, Han and Chewie can be captured or dead. For real, how does Luke know that the Millennium Falcon wasn't just straight atomized by a star somewhere? And he's here to tell Mullen that you want to put a smile on that face. Then he just ends the call with no intention to go check on Han and Chewie to find out what happened to them.
I gotta get back to this engine. I think we might have it solved.
And the family just goes and has another Zoom call. And you're gonna start to notice a serious pattern here. So we cut to this trader. His name is Zondan. And for all intents and purposes, he kind of becomes the main character of this special. The actors from the original movie are kind of barely in this, so it falls on this new original character to explain to the audience the whole time what's going on with the Wookiees, what they're talking about, and what they're feeling. So he's visited by an Imperial soldier in his shop while he gets a call from Maul. He talks in code to tell her what's going on with Han and Chewie. Dumbest line I think I've ever heard, where he's like, the shaggy carpet is on its way. It was designed by one person. You can say they made it by hand. So, you might say. I also think there's another really stupid line where he tells the soldier he can plug his gizmo into any knowing laser weapon. He just goes to show that people working on this did not care. Just like, take your star bulb, plug it into the laser outlet, and flip on the space switch. This is sci-fi. You can also sometimes just cut to footage from the movie, but now we're back with the Wookiees, and this next segment is insane. Every segment is insane, but it just is impressive how it keeps on surprising you with how weird and off-putting it can continue to get. We get like a cooking segment where Mala is following like a Food Network thing on how to cook bantha surprise. This is like a cross-dressing character played by comedian Harvey Korman. So she starts cooking, getting increasingly faster. Stir, whip, stir.
Where do you think you're going?
Revealed to have 4 arms, so Molly can't keep up because it's funny. I don't know. I think this is supposed to be really, really funny or something, but it's making me really uncomfortable. We quickly cut back to Harrison Ford, who's so happy to be here. Then an Imperial bad guy shows up on the screen to declare martial law. This is where he tells the planet Kazoo. This special is the canonical introduction to the Wookiee home planet. So why would he say Kazoo? Kazoo planet. Did they not care that much? Or is that really how you're supposed to say it all along? and everything else in the rest of Star Wars is just wrong. Then Zondan shows up with gifts for Life Day. For some reason, he withholds the gift from Maul until she agrees to give him a kiss on the cheek. I mean, like, wait, quite good. What an absolute creep, dude. And the fact that Chewbacca isn't even here makes this such a choice. Do you do that? Anyway, the next scene we see is Itchy sitting down to watch virtual reality jerk off encouragement. That's right, I'm not kidding, I'm not joking about that. That's literally what happens next. The present that Zondan gives Itchy is BR goon material, and we watch him plug in. This is a part played by Diane Carroll where she's being pretty suggestive in a soft-core kind of way, and we watch this Wookiee bounce up and down and essentially get his rocks off. And it starts continuously rewinding this moment where she calls him adorable. And we watch her sing a song that goes on for an eternity, and it's followed by some horrifying experimental visuals that reminded me of, like, the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Here's the thing with AI agents. They call LLMs, they execute tools, they can run for minutes, even hours, but what happens when something fails partway through? You lose everything. You're starting from scratch, and you're rerunning expensive operations. Take this example here where I'm asking an agent to tell me about recursion, and I kill the agent. It's lost all its conversation history. This is why I've been playing around with the OpenAI Agents SDK integration with Temporal. Let me...
After this, we get our scene with Carrie Fisher and C-3PO.
Wouldn't make this channel, honestly, because I don't really care. Who you sleep with is who you sleep with, and who you stop sleeping with is who you stop sleeping with. That's just what I'm on TN. 24 hours after two strangers broke up, they became ammo for the new iteration of the gender wars. Where his vitals at? So we're reducing all of his vitals to 25. Ain't no muscle mass. Cartilage in your knees and ankles gone. Meniscus is gone. See, you gotta reduce the head durability because you was playing head games. You wanna play head games? You gonna win some prizes. Okay? This IQ is gone. Man, don't worry, sis. I got you. Thanks. Clay lost the game. Clay has no fate. Clay has no holes. Clay has no goals. Clay has to call. Can't find a hole.
Evelyn! What a joy to see you here and share the bounty of our life with a new sister. But why have you come? Were you not free already? When I heard how wonderful the community is, I had to see for myself. Are the rumors true? Are you as happy as they say? Happier. Our homes are comfortable, food is good and plentiful. It's like Eden. Are you paid a good wage? We are allowed to live here and participate in the community, each of us helping in our own way. That's all the wage we need. So the community owns this land. Someday we might, once we earn out our contracts. They say the land is valuable, so it may take a long time. It will be worth it. And if you wish to leave, it doesn't happen. No one would ever want that. No one has ever left. You shouldn't talk like that. No one here does. We're so full of happiness, we have no need of unpleasant thoughts, or of those who would stir them. It really is so wonderful to see you again. Good day. It always is.
Be around your whole family playing house. Got cold feet holding you down between all your horrible mood swings and treatment towards me during your basketball season.
There will be so much time for talking later.
I need a real break after this one. Y'all. She's referencing the fact that she went ahead and did some sort of Thanksgiving dinner for Klay Thompson and the Thompson family, which, hey brother, that's a bit ridiculous. I don't know how to frame that. But to me, it sounded like there was always questions about monogamy, and by questions, I do mean, A, she wanted monogamy, he didn't want monogamy. There was some sort of convincing, but nonetheless, this shouldn't be here for me to dissect. This should all exist as some sort of private information. Let's double down on her efforts of blasting the relationships into the public. Meg Thee Stallion then went on to make a TMZ statement, which, Harvey, stop picking up the phone for this one. She goes on to say, I made the decision to end my relationship with Play. Trust, fidelity, and respect are non-negotiable for me in a relationship. And when those values are compromised, there's no real path forward. I'm taking this time to prioritize myself.
Join the dancing. This is a day for celebration.
All takes start to step in. Stephen A. Smith, of all people, led the charge by saying, why was this anybody's business? How come you just couldn't move on and not draw others into this conversation? Others that didn't participate in said relationship to read it.
To everybody. It's none of our freaking business. We got there at the bottom of the screen. Megan claims Thompson cheated on her. Lexi Brown denies it all. So now Lexi Brown, Seattle Storm, minded her business. She got to go and explain whether she is or is not involved in something like this. And we try to get off the Klay Thompson business. He don't deserve this. He doesn't deserve this. The brother is a damn great basketball player who has blessed us with his greatness for the longest time. There's the statement from Lexi Brown. I've seen what's being said online, and I want to be clear, none of it is true, and I have no involvement in this situation. This week marks the start of an important and exciting new season for me. My focus is on that. Amen, sister. Amen. And damn it, if it did involve you, it would still be none of our damn business.
Now, before anybody in the comments comes and starts attacking me for the stance that I'm about to take and make about this whole subject, I'm just letting y'all know what's fair is fair, and what's fair is square. I've had some of these similar sentiments about other streamers and content creators' relationships, and this is going to track with a lot of the things that I've said in the past. This did not have to be for public consumption. Full stop. Now, granted, these are two big entities with two big stars, so I get that at some point, people were particularly going to ask about the relationship while they were in it. We're going to talk about the breakup while they were not seen together, but the intimate and private details of the matter did not need to come to social media. All of these things, the good and the bad, only feeds into the parasocial/celebrity worship epidemic that is going on today. Oftentimes, I talk about the responsibility of some fans when it comes to these things. We have to look past the fans of these people and talk about the creator's responsibility in feeding into this nonsense. I keep putting quotes around fans because, from what I know, in a lot of instances, these people don't necessarily support these people. The only time that they really go rah rah, pom pom is when there's some sort of fiasco or debacle. So now when you open up the floodgates to these conversations, people who just last week were saying that this was the new it couple, the new power couple on the scene, are putting in things and takes that honestly don't make any sort of sense other than this illusion that has been created in their mind is now opened up and they can spew out nonsense.
You didn't know Klay Thompson before stuff on dates before money. And all these guys have blood money and these girls have respect. AJ, if you are well known in your circle and you're well respected, you're gonna commute that for social partners. Being with you makes you good.
Such a stupid and idiotic take. I think it dismisses all of the work that Klay Thompson has done and the notoriety that he has in places like China. But seriously, I'll even give it to you and say that, there is some sorts of things to gain from dating a Meg Thee Stallion. I can't even refute that. Wouldn't he, if he values social currency, I don't know, break up with her instead of cheating on her? Because this would hurt the social currency that he's gained and this audience that he's being presented to. Also, this doesn't take into consideration that, what is Klay Thompson, who's at the tail end of his NBA career, going to do with this newfound female audience that he does have? Gonna go into skincare? I don't know. None of this tracks. So now I'm seeing outrageous take after outrageous take, like Megan Thee Stallion got cheated on, ladies cheat today. Right now, I feel like for me, I can't understand why people are so obsessed with this celebrity relationship. Last night on my live stream, I had FD Signifier on to talk about this situation a little bit, and I will agree with some of the sentiments about this being one of the more prominent relationships for the Black community as a whole. mood swings and treatment toward me during your basketball season. Now you don't know if you can be monogamous. There's some detail in this, and I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it too much. This reads to me as though there were question marks throughout the entire relationship about the status of polygamy. Are we open or closed?
I disagree. I think he was probably always open. It just wasn't. I'm just gonna
Miss,
it was probably always.
can I offer you some of my premium ale or perhaps some tobacco? Strictly on quiet market.
No, thank you.
Oh, well, do you have any to sell there?
Sorry.
Please forget we ever spoke.
Representations in the media of black love. But that does not excuse some of the nonsense from the tweets that we are reading as far as backlash toward Klay Thompson or fans that can't understand why this is such a big deal. One tweet reads, why are females so obsessed with Megan Thee Stallion? LOL. Oh, to the men who had to take the day off from work when Kobe Bryant died suddenly don't understand that you can have sympathy towards a celebrity you don't know? I'm out. What are we doing? Are we comparing the death of Kobe Bryant to the breakup of Meg Thee Stallion and her boyfriend, Klay Thompson, to the Dallas Mavericks? I think that's
Evelyn,
necessary.
what a joy to see you here and share the bounty of our life with a new sister. But why have you come? Were you not free already? When I heard how wonderful the community is, I had to see for myself. Are the rumors true? Are you as happy as they say? Happier. Our homes are comfortable, food is good and plentiful. It's like Eden. Are you paid a good wage? We are allowed to live here and participate in the community, each of us helping in our own way. That's all the wage we need. So the community owns this land. Someday we might, once we earn out our contracts. They say the land is valuable, so it may take a long time. It will be worth it. And if you should wish to leave, it doesn't happen. No one would ever want that. No one has ever left. You shouldn't talk like that. No one here does. We're so full of happiness, we have no need of unpleasant thoughts, or of those who would stir them. It really is so wonderful to see you again. Good day. It always is.
My fucking God! If you can't be monogamous with all that woman, like, this is the breed they speak about in the podcast. Like, oh, I don't think Klay Thompson gets it. It gets real very social.
There will be so much time for talking later.
Protect her with my life if need be. And you know what? Shout out to Megan, because normalize saying exactly why a man ain't shit in public. Because we were all on here praising Klay Thompson, thinking they were so cute. He was such a mama boy. He was so fucking nice. Brought her to Thanksgiving. Like, I am disgusted, and I've been trying to tell you about these fucking athletes. These niggas can't be trusted because they loyal to Megan Thee Stallion. Like, please.
The girls were up in arms about this, which was weird, and the guys were also celebrating this situation, which is also weird. But trust me, Megan's weirder than this. Anybody that suffers from CWS, celebrity worship syndrome, it's an obsessive and addictive disorder in which a person becomes overly involved with the details of a celebrity's personal and professional life. Psychologists have indicated that though many people obsess over film, television, sports, and pop stars, the only common factor between them is that they are all singers in the CWS, or celebrity worship syndrome, can only describe the type of person who would start, I don't even know how to really phrase this, a mass cheating cheat first campaign in response to Klay Thompson allegedly cheating on Megan Thee Stallion. This woman writes out a post saying, attention all hot girls, we will all be cheating on our men tonight for Meg. Even when you lead a man to water, he still won't drink. Cheat first. It's such a weird place that we're in. I want a new timeline. I want a new timeline ASAP. So you're telling me just because I got cheated on, allegedly, of course, you're going to go out and cheat on your boyfriend in your perfectly fine relationship. Mind you, these are two celebrities who have had, whether rumored or confirmed, infidelity issues in their own past, their own skeletons, in their own closet, but yet this is the way that you these people are celebrities. One percenters, strangers to you as well. This has nothing to do with your personal life at all, but for whatever reason, you're so involved about this problem because there's been allegations of infidelity.
In my opinion, you can really not trust no man. Like, you just can't. And it's proven time again. That's why whenever you get in a relationship, for all you women out there, for boys and girls, they need to prove to you, treat them guilty until proven innocent. Can I let you in my life? Like, can I let you, you know what I'm saying? Yada actually told me this. She said every man should start off in jail and prove why they should do that.
No, I did say that I was going to call this 100,000%. For what it's worth, Klay Thompson is a weirdo, and if he did do this cheating, then he is a cheater. But as far as we know, these are all allegations. Mind you, if you don't know Klay Thompson's history when it comes to dating, it does feature some notable names. Some of the more notable names would be Coco Jones and Laura Harris. So I bring that up because there's been this notebook that's been floating around that he used to keep by his side where he would detail his cheating endeavors. In one excerpt of the journal, Klay Thompson is proving that he is one of these weirdo, maybe even red pill JC men that do exist in the world. Again, it's all alleged, but we're having fun. It says, yes, lifestyle on and off the court, particularly my sex life, the most savage sectors of my lifestyle. Promiscuousness, womanizing, misogynistic, self-centered, insecure addict, question mark? Is that what I am right now? Question mark? I hope not, but I keep writing about it. Maybe because these experiences will getting set up and it was yeah, that's also weird. Again, those are all allegations. Weird nonetheless, but allegations. It is a little bit different from the real timeness of the things that we were seeing from the side of the hot girls or the stallions or whatever they're calling themselves. We talked about this before in the IEBG situation where people brought these, probably behind closed doors conversations to the World Wide Web as an attempt to, galvanize and weaponize the audience.
Well, thank you.
And what is your job?
Cleaning, sewing, cooking perhaps.
I prefer hunting.
That's unusual. But you will find yourself in good company. Our Dick site leader is also a woman. If you can get along with her, you'll do well. Of course, everyone does well here. Our strength is using your strength.
Wonderful.
Megan Thee Stallion. This corporation is literally using this situation in which she is a victim and she is going through some sort of trauma, some turmoil, but they're using that to push their engagement and people back to their game, on their Twitter pages. There are fans lowering vital signs on Klay Thompson on 2K in hopes that he can get injured in the game. There are also witches that are putting some sorts of hexes on him, which is not only too much, but also ludicrous and ridiculous that you would record this on the internet. And I'm seeing breaches of death as people are taking serious matters like femicide and trying to find some sort of connection between this and Klay Thompson.
There's no shortage of material here. Perhaps I can gather the tools to arm myself so I'm ready when the time comes.
Twitter user response says, alright, if such your favorite celebrity got cheated on, that's nothing to black femicide. A serious topic, you're cheapening the term by making this comparison. So all these situations to me is where it stops being some funny, kiki, laughing matter. And we start having to question these people, just like I was saying we should do when the warning signs are there from that Rihanna situation where the woman ended up appearing at her home and firing rounds at a home where there were Rihanna, A$AP Rocky, and their children. This shit is starting to worry me. Like, I'm not even joking anymore. It gets to a point where we're not even talking about Klay Thompson or Megan Thee Stallion, the actual situation. I want you to do this exercise while watching the video. Scroll back, look at any of the tweets, look at any of the videos that I showed, look at any of these things, and tell me how many of them are actually about Klay Thompson. Not about what they represent, not about what side they're on, just them as people. You can't find me. Because 33 hours after the situation has happened, we're literally in a fight. It's no longer about the breakup, but it's about going to war with other people. It's really about the femicide issue, which is real, but she didn't care about Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion. Her tweet wasn't even about the breakup. She had a talking point that she's been wanting to get off for a long time, and when Meg came to the internet and talked about her breakup, it replaced the plant a flag. The person who said that Meg made Klay Thompson famous right now, access to that couch. The person who even defending that person has had an issue with rappers and athletes for years, and she has found another reason and to get this shit off. Not as the court, but just to attack people who think that it's wrong. The reaction to it should let me break up. It's people using the latest everything in order to get their grievances off with the opposite sex right before they go into their bedroom and pull out any sorts of instruments to help them get through.
The core player base for the dungeon is like one or two set of fans, and that is based on words. Like, Beloved, the Void Dead is a monster collecting game franchise. All monsters in these dungeons. One of the most important things that is like the biggest fun to our team is that you guys have such a strong algorithm and keep things really clean and influence on our end so that we can focus on like doing what we do best. And if you can trust the algorithm for your partner to really find the right people to resonate, you don't have to think so much about like how you're going to stand out.
I'd say we went from bait.
Everybody been getting their jokes and think piece of thought about Klay Thompson cheating on Megan Thee Stallion, and I've deadass been on the verge of tears all day. And I know that sounds so crazy, crying for somebody that you don't know personally, but as a young black woman that's incredibly inspired by Megan Thee Stallion and her resilience, just thinking about her life, her parents, how she was shot, publicly harassed, like isolated, and thinking about how a man knew all of that and that still was not enough to spare her. Like, he still did not take 3 seconds to consider how his actions might hurt somebody who's already been hurt enough in life. And that level of like sadisticness is very hard for my brain to process. And it's like, it's men whose wives have been in the hospital with terminal cancer who have still gone out and cheated, and you know what I mean? Like, it's nothing that you can go through as a woman where a man will say enough. Like, I'm going to spare you. Like, I'm going to spare you. So I don't know. This shit is like changing my brain chemistry. This ain't something that I didn't already know. I already knew this. It's just reminder. I just needed that reminder.
Real tears from people that you don't know in a situation that you don't know what happened is the most insane thing to me. And the fact that these people are getting validated in their comment section only makes any of this much more weird than it already has been. And the sad part about it is nobody's even having some sort of real conversation about these actual real topics that these people are trying to converse with. That person who said make Klay more famous isn't trying to actually engage with this sort of real and challenging conversation. It's quite verifiable. In that statement, all these people are doing is talking past each other and calling it a conversation. This is how I know that they don't care about Megan Thee Stallion saying they are sympathetic for the issue that she's going through right now. Klay Thompson, the fact that he might be facing some sort of backlash. Nobody actually cares about that. Next week, it'll be some new celebrity, some new face, some new product. Take these talking points, pick them up, and move them to the next couple. It'll be the same fights, same conversation, same talking past each other with different names, same overreactions to stuff that we should definitely be calling out. There's no way in the world in which people should be crying over the latest celebrity drama like this. People in real life need hobbies, lives, and jobs, and people definitely need to be checked on because this whole Klay Thompson, Megan Thee Stallion breakup conversation is not nothing normal about it. It's weird. People are treating it, and we have to start calling it out.
How has Klay Thompson cheating on Megan Thee Stallion impacted your life? Have you cried?
Well, have you got into any Twitter arguments about, Klay being less famous before Megan Thee Stallion and then ultimately stop doing work behind it?
No.
Okay. And then also, because I know this is something you're very passionate about, how is this related to femicide? Breakup and cheating.
What?
That's what I'm just trying to give you place and space to.
I have no clue.
I got the 2 weeks for this time.
This is a reach only because she's not made the connection clear. Right now, the connection could be there. It's very tenuous though.
How much sleep?
We actually tripled our sales revenue from Google Ads when we incorporated Performance Max. So Google Ads allowed us to find that audience at scale and build awareness with people who were ready to make a change.
I'm sorry, Lori.
The same night of that shoot, after we ended, we went back to the hotel. He brought to Mike and he called someone up and was like, look, yo, how you feel about Lori? They're gonna be like, yeah, like, Lori's cool. He'd be like, with that. So this is the first time calling me out my name. Did I ever call him out his name? No. Did I ever disrespect him? No. This isn't the first time him calling me out my name. How long is 17 gonna be able to be applied to him?
It's bro. He turned 18 out with people you don't hold him accountable for his
course,
behavior. He's
you're
not
correct.
like a fever streamer. He doesn't have a small community. He has 20,000 people to like 15,000 people watching him. This is not. You have to be some type of a role model.
But somehow the internet has fallen the hearts of the platforms. Something that Mr. Beast streaming video would mark the single moment that signified that streamers are so culturally different and don't belong in the same groups with each other ever again. From these backlash on his shenanigans in the video, Rakai has seen himself taking itself from racism now all the way to sexism and misogyny. And I'm sorry, I've been waiting for these conversations to unwrap, and we have got to talk about these deeper underlying things that we continuously brush over in the streaming community. Even if this week, hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. Don't get more subscribers on this channel. Start taking that retire route and start spazzing out on people and going crazy and stuff like that. Now, back into the video. Let's also into the Mr. Beast streaming challenge where he gets his collective of streamers, puts them in a circle, and does the Mr. Beast thing. I'm not going to cover it. I'm not going to go into too much detail, reaction, all that stuff. If you haven't already, please watch that video and then come back. Do the 2-tap. Help it up on multiple devices. Spam up the views. What I'm going to say is, who would have thought that these moments... Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Here is the man I was mentioning earlier.
Comments in a day or two span. Maybe they posted something online that accidentally went viral and invited a bunch of different people, and now people are talking about their looks, etc., and they've experienced that before. So if you multiply that by 100, creators are getting hundreds of thousands of tens of thousands of hate comments on a daily basis. To the crowd and saying, yo, just get off the internet, don't scroll, do all these different things. It's coming directly to their phone now. They're getting phone calls, text messages. It's absolutely disgusting. It's not something that you just build up a thick skin to. And I see that when I see Rakai's mom giving him a voicemail showing that, you know, there's still support, there's still love, and there's still encouragement going on in this household. He almost comes to a near tear.
See, son, you carry this light that a lot of people don't understand. But if you know, and don't ever let anyone dim your light. Okay, baby? I am so proud of you and all that, and that's just all because I want to see where your head is. And I know for a fact that you are unbothered. You are so bothered. You are so free. You are so pure of yourself. And I am so proud of you, Heavenly Father. I ask that you please continue to guide my son.
It is good to see that Rakai has some sort of strong, seemingly support system around him during this time. But if I could offer your opinions here. It's okay to be bothered. I know his mom was saying that she knows that her son is unbothered and she knows her son way more than I do. But I think it's also safe to say that it's okay to be bothered by this situation because some of this borderlines reality. We know that people go to content creators' houses. We know that these words actually have impact, and we know that as we get into these places and spaces, you are subjecting yourselves to criticisms that you wouldn't be facing if you were in your community, but you're doing it for either the better of your career or homeboy or all these other reasons, ultimately opening you to be a target of others.
Grown the fuck up. Racist people are using this as a reason to already be racist. Check the comments. I'm not reading these fucking comments from fucking Grown. I'm good off that, bro. That's gonna protect my energy in the first place, man. Racist people who are already racist are using this as a reason to continue to be racist.
I think ultimately Rakai will learn to navigate the space and space better and better so he isn't front facing in all these controversies. But I will say, today is not that day. As more information has come about the situation.
This is my mother. I'd know it anywhere.
Rakai has played in these situations. Now, again, this is not victim blaming in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And Elvis himself would acknowledge that what he does mention to his community and the audience that Rakai also does say some things about him that may have made him not be so innocent. Just even though in some point Rakai says, go back to Mexico during the situation in which El Rubius was leaving the game because of the eliminated. Now, I do think I could interpret it as a messed up thing to say. I do also understand his American ideology. A Spanish Norwegian streamer from Spain. Now, do I think that I know about Spain for real? Just being fair with you guys, I think telling El Rubius to go back to Mexico was malicious in his intent. I can't genuinely say he might have legitimately thought he was Mexican from Mexico and told him to go back to Mexico. That is the last bit of bail that I can give Rakai because as he starts to address these stipulations and backlash, he is getting back to Mr. Beast's game/game. He is revealing himself in his ignorance and journey.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. Why should I listen to my girl, to my girl, to my girl. Wait up, no, Lori. Son of a bitch. Fuck you. That's not what I'm saying here. It's fuck you. Because I'm gonna get back at that. I'm gonna get back at that. Like, she was saying, in order for that education shit, I'm saying, you know? Fuck you. Bitch. Fuck, I really like you. You know? I don't fuck with you straight there. Shut the fuck up, bitch. That's what you did. She made flaws. You cry about it too. I ain't crying.
Yeah, maybe it's because I'm 30. I can't get it. Rakai full out Blast Mari, and Blast is the nice version of what he said. I call her an ugly bitch, which I don't understand. I don't get it. Not that I'm saying it's because she is attractive or anything like that. I don't have a personal opinion on that. I'm saying at a certain point, some of these things don't need to be said. He's already had an incident where he's called another woman out of her name.
The bitch, she was digging her son.
And from that, it's like he learned, that you shouldn't be calling me by that name. I just don't get the need for the name calling. It was based off of a clip where Mari reacted to what he was saying during the entire time she was playing Connect Four. And for what it's worth, I think that it's pretty harmless.
Yeah.
So sorry.
You're gonna make me cry. With that, and he over here talking about some you would handle it. He didn't do it. What is he doing? Somebody in here like, you sound like a Tasmanian devil in my ear the whole time. Respectfully.
Small reaction commentary and another smaller one where she talked about how Rakai and Yana were allowed late at night one night was the only time that she had mentioned him posting these things. And in an instant, I should have been taking the high road, should have been displaying maturity, talking about a situation in which people is being attacked wrongfully for his actions. He decided to then redirect the conversation to somebody else and do the same thing to somebody else. And I know the saying that bullies are bullied people, but this ain't it. Like, full stop. This is not it. And Mara responds, she echoes these sentiments, but opens up a very good conversation that I've been waiting to talk about online for a minute now.
The same night of that shoot, after we ended, we went back to the hotel. It's brought to my attention, he called someone up and was like, oh, yo, how do you feel about Mari? They gonna be like, yeah, I like Mari, she's cool. He gonna be like, I don't fuck with that bitch. So this is not your first time calling me out my name. You know what I could have done when I reacted to that video? I could have brought that up, but I didn't. When I didn't even know you said womp womp. And I think my reaction to that is valid. Because it's like, he was in my ear the whole time, distracting me the whole video. Okay, cool. He is like a Tasmanian devil. Did I ever call him out his name? No. Did I ever disrespect him? No. This isn't the first time him calling me out my name. He already called Cutie a bitch. And disrespecting her meant that she invited him to. Like, what? How long is 17 gonna be able to be a It's bro, when he turned 18 now, what? It's not even coming out of like a area of like hate or anything for him. I was once a 17-year-old internet. I was annoying. But guess what? I'm not as annoying anymore, okay? Like, what the heck? That was an excuse for when I was moderating people's chats and everything, and I was fucking being annoying. No one was like, but she's only 17. Stop. Don't give a fuck. I still got death threats, and it's still crazy how you went on stream after being like, yeah, I'm getting death threats, racism, everything. And then you did 180, and you said, 20,000 people. How does that make sense?
This people came to the defense of Rakai. Many a streamer came to the defense of Mari as well. Somebody who is very well liked and respected in the streaming community, and for what it's worth, I think people also saw that Rakai did was flat out wrong. Another female streamer, Jalan, came out and spoke about why he continues to be invited to the events. There has to be some sort of line that is drawn. This is excessive. Another streamer, Stable Ronaldo, talking about how this is a little aggressive and that, maybe they can hire a therapist out of it all.
It's a little aggressive, man. Rakai, man, we need you to. I can hire a therapist, brother. Maybe we have a sit down. Maybe you have a sit down. I can get it for you. What's going on, man? Everything I've seen your. I saw your social security number on Twitter yesterday, bro. With your address and your full bank statements and everything from this guy who I couldn't understand. It wasn't in English.
This is probably around the time in any Rakai story where people are saying, "Hey, how come everybody else on the internet is holding him accountable, talking about his actions, saying that these are bad, etc., etc." But the people in his life are not. The people in his life are going to hold him accountable. Even Mari questions that while she continues down her reaction about the whole situation.
Hopefully the people around him can stop enabling him. I'm not too sure about what happens behind the scenes in that regard, but people need to hold him accountable for his behavior. He's not a 500 viewer streamer. He doesn't have a small community. He has 20,000 people to like 15,000 people watching it. This is not. You have to be some type of role model. You can be a character, cool, whatnot, and act crazy, but you just have to like pick and choose and know what's right from wrong when you address certain situations and just like how you move, bro.
The reality is, and I think it's safe to say, when you look at the people surrounding Rakai, it kind of makes sense as to why he would act the way that he acts. Yes, it's right. And to be fair, and this is what I've been trying to talk about this entire time, this unspoken thing about streaming nature and content creation on this side of the internet, is that it enables this type of behavior. This is what people find entertaining now. You may not not agree with this section of portion of entertainment, I'm not talking directly to Mars specifically. I'm talking to the greater community at large, from the creators on down to the audience. You may not like this specific person saying or doing these things, or that specific person saying or doing these things, but you most likely turn a blind eye to when your favorites do something of the same sort of similar, or conveniently forget when they were 16 or 17 years old doing some of the same actions that Rakai does. This is a community that will watch somebody only criticize when they hit rock. Right? They're watching the decision time and time again, but only when they get to the bottom and are laying flat on their back as a creator and looking up at the sky will they hover over them and say, yes, messed up, somebody should have. Why did you never stop them at some point while they were rolling down the hill? I think about so many instances of this, but one that sticks out for me right now in this moment, for whatever the case may be, is when Ludwig had his friend on last year with the Mario Kart stream. You know that man had a drinking problem. You know that man was touchy-feely and handsy and all these other things. Yet he still provided him on the stream. And his audience, you know, rocked with the big on stream balls to the backlash. People in the community started saying, yo, we gotta do something. Buddy, he was 36. He developed a drinking problem throughout his whole life. He said, man, stop. I'm not saying what I did is valid, but a response by crashing out to a bunch of different people involved in the party of the discourse that you're involved with is a normal reaction for streaming and streaming culture, calling people out their name, being racist, being misogynistic, being homophobic, all these things, homophobic. All these things are things that are baked in and ingrained in the culture to an extent, and enabling these things is also baked in and ingrained in the culture to a certain extent. If it wasn't, your favorite streamer would have been canceled a long time ago, because for what it's worth, your favorite streamer probably has a better track record than Rakai.
Speed wasn't this bad. What? Nigga, are you serious? Did you ever watch Speed when he was younger? Did you hear the things he was saying? I don't think you've heard the things he was saying. Rakai calling her a bitch compared to the shit that Speed was saying is literally nothing, bro. Like, Speed was supposed to have been out of here with the shit that he was saying, with the jokes that he was making. Even though it was literally a joke, like, it's still, like, something you just don't say. Like, it's just fucked up. It's just like, bro, you just don't say these things. You don't do these things. But you get older and you learn from it, bro.
You could probably call this from a mile away. Friend of the show, Dante, is absolutely correct. It's probably because he was there when things were happening, but the correlation and connection between iShow Speed and Rakai, honestly, does Rakai a disservice. The iShow Speed was saying it was insane. And I'm going to tell you how insane it was for those that may have not been here for that moment. Anytime anybody's ever referenced these things, whether it be in passing or in commentary channels, you've never seen a video of this. These videos, for the most part, have been buried. You will only bring it up like 96 Freak Week or the pandemic. No footage, just memories in people's heads.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Fucking jeez, bro.
Full stop, but I condemn those actions. While you do have to give him time to pick a path in which to go down, either that's going to be the reputation rebuilding path of himself or other streamers, or it's going to be the path of the greats of the
This is ridiculous.
whoever else that continues to crash out and lash out as adults. The only thing that we can say is that time will tell if you as an individual accordingly in regards to it. But the reality is that we exist in an environment in which
Down. What the fuck?
I'm not saying that there's not other factors involved. Part of the reason why he is so successful, just as others around him are so successful, is because they call women bitches. It's because they lash out like this. It's because they do borderline, homoerotic things, and then also are homophobic at the same time. That's the reason why they are so successful. Let's not pick and choose that we want to cut it off at the legs. Let's be across the board. And let's also give people time to find themselves. Lord knows, we also that makes sense. Omar would not be finding me. It's not that crazy. Please let me. I just wore ridiculous sweaters. I have no speakers. I have a nice
Let's get into the reacts then, y'all. Okay, this 50 Cent was fighting about Floyd Mayweather. Walls are caving in on Floyd Mayweather, and he can no longer do the one thing he has always done to solve his problems: fight. Boxing didn't just make Floyd a Hall of Famer, it also made him filthy rich. His earned estimated $1.2 billion.
That was fucking kidding me.
But today, he is pawning off his watches to pay off debts, paying for multi-million-dollar tax bills from the IRS, lobbing and weaving child support payments, promoting questionable crypto coins, going toe-to-toe with countless lawsuits, and gambling the rest of the cash that he does have. As a result, many are calling him broke, which is something 50 Cent Floyd Money Mayweather's business mogul persona is looking like nothing more than a facade. He is desperately trying to convince you that he has made calculated investments alongside a team of business geniuses. But there is a very real possibility that Floyd cannot read. Because if you can't believe something that's bad, likely couldn't understand the fields he was getting into, where he is playing. Now that he can't fight his way into another
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
to be the guy who earned generational wealth only to blow it all in one generation. This is how it happened. Floyd Mayweather Sr. was arrested on drug trafficking charges, convicted, and sentenced to 5 years in prison in 1993, which is just a small insight to the trauma Floyd experienced as a child.
Oh my god.
Despite his chaotic upbringing, Floyd Jr. was determined to follow in his father's footsteps in the ring. He had a stellar amateur career, but in one of his last amateur fights, he lost in Atlanta against the Bulgarian Serb. He was necessarily dominated, but as the announcer would be hard across the winner, lifted up his arms, first below his hands.
You gotta be fucking kidding me, bro.
Floyd said it only motivated him to become great.
Bro, ow, my nigga, bro. This shit is pissing me off. Like, now a nigga gotta fucking stand up, bro. Like, what the fuck?
That was one of the best things that happened to me.
This setback was the perfect marketing storyline for his first official pro match against Roberto Magnenko. Promoters were building Floyd up as the young prodigy who got robbed at the Olympics, working as hard as he could to support his dad when he got out of prison. And by all accounts, Floyd delivered
Man, bro.
The most impressive part for new fans was that he was basically untouchable due to near-perfect defense. Being a professional fighter didn't immediately make him rich. His abs, bro. Like, I almost, like, it's like somebody took a vacuum and, like, soaked all the fucking fat in that area. It wasn't even possible to have abs that, like, pronounced. Man, that's impressive and famous. Floyd only made $2,500 in his debut fight. He had just signed to Top Rank, a fighting promotion ran by the legendary Bobby Arum, whose job was to turn fighters into stars. Top Rank paid money to create
So much bullshit. That's seriously bullshit, bro.
In return, they had the exclusive right to promote his fights, taking as a percentage of money each event generated. All
Floyd had to do was win, and he did. He earned the nickname Pretty Boy Floyd due to his remarkable speed and defense. His opponents barely ever hit him in the face, so he never really had any cuts or bruises. His nice guy look, while being a savage knockout artist, got fans invested in him, and at this point in his career, he was much more humble, soft-spoken, and generally more passionate and emotionally invested in his fights. But as Floyd kept winning, he realized something strange. Everyone around him was making way more money than he was.
Look at the flow of entertainment. It happens a lot of entertainment. Like, entertainers don't understand the ways of being taken advantage of until they get taken advantage of, and then they start to smarten up. Feel me? That happens a lot. Like, not just in boxing. It can be like anything. It can be consideration.
Mayweather desperately needed to renegotiate his business affairs. The problem was, making money in the ring and making money outside of it are two very different skills, and Floyd wasn't exactly prepared to be the big boss he thought he was. Real quick, I wanted to turn the Floyd Jr. had a 33-0 record after beating the absolute brakes off Arturo Gatti. Despite this, Gatti was still considered the bigger draw and actually earned more money than Floyd. Now, $3.2 million was still an amazing payday for most boxers' standards, and he felt like he was getting less than he deserved. Mayweather had just purchased his first mansion in the Las Vegas Mountain Trails neighborhood for $3 million and needed to bring in multiple millions to sustain the lifestyle he wanted. Him and McLaren started disagreeing on Floyd's brands, also referred to as the Burbs. Floyd felt that it was his work in the ring that got him the sold-out arenas, whereas Bob felt that the financial risk he took on Floyd for the past 10 years,
What is going on?
is what gave him the authority to choose what Floyd should get paid. This is exactly the same type of situation when an artist is 4 albums deep into their recording contract, and all of a sudden they say the label is evil, and that they're taking too large of a percentage, and that they should be allowed to be independent now. But when the label was spending millions of dollars promoting this artist when nobody knew them, everything was fine. Floyd was able to slowly get larger purses, receiving $4.3 million against Sean Mitchell, then $5 million against Zab Judah. The point came when Bob wanted Floyd to fight Antonio Margarito. Floyd demanded an $8 million purse, but Bob refused. He didn't believe the fight could generate enough money to justify paying Floyd that much. Betting on himself, Floyd paid roughly $750,000 to buy himself out of his contract with Top Rank. He won.
So he's making millions of dollars off of him. He's making millions of dollars. All it took was $750,000 to buy him out the situation. He should have been done that. He could buy a $3 million house in Las Vegas, man. He could have, you know.
Away from the man who built his career and started his own company called Mayweather Promotions.
It's making, 7 figures with it. Some of them are making 8 figures. That's the best move I've made.
It was the biggest gamble of his life. Instead of relying on somebody else, Floyd would now be 100% responsible for calculating his business. His very next fight against Carlos Baldomir earned him the exact $8 million purse he had been asking to Floyd. It looked like he had just proven everyone wrong, and he followed that up by stepping up to the biggest challenge of his life, fighting the legendary Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar was universally loved, called the Golden Boy with his nice guy personality, but Mayweather Jr. had a very similar image, and if he was going to sell this match, he would have to become the villain of American boxing.
Look me in the eye right now. Look me in my eye. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I'm the judge. Remember that. Gave you 2 good guys. You told me that. I'll beat you to the respect. Beat you to make it all be pretty. I'll beat you. If they don't get this, make it a chance. To be kicking
This is crazy. Mechanics, these mechanics is fucking trash. Oh my fucking god, bro.
Inputs from phones to desktops to servers make scaling growth possible for everyone. But every mismanaged input introduces risk, efficiency challenges, and operational overhead. IT shouldn't feel like a maze.
What is going on, bro? What is going on?
HBO's 24/7 gave fans a closer look at Mayweather's personality. One Some journalists wrote he was loud, he was obnoxious, he was arrogant, and he had no problem painting himself as the villain. He read the landscape and figured he could make money as the bad guy. If everyone wouldn't pay to see him win, maybe he could get some people to pay to see him win and others to pay in hopes that he would get his big mouth shut for once. Floyd's promotional efforts paid off big time, achieving 2.4 million pay-per-view buys, and the highest grossing non-heavyweight pay-per-view. Mayweather walked up to the ring wearing a sports has a Mexican flag from Mexican fans rooting for De La Hoya. But when they entered the ring, it was clear that Mayweather was going to have to pull out every defensive tool he had in his arsenal. De La Hoya had a deadly focus, and all of Floyd's mental tricks seemed to be meaningless as he continued to find himself back into a corner. It was the toughest match that either of them had ever fought, and Floyd barely came out on top with a technical victory. Mayweather ended up winning by split decision, securing the 7-3 championship title and keeping his perfect unbeaten record. Floyd Mayweather Jr. had officially reached the top of the mountain in boxing, and this fight marked him a staggering
And the fact that 25 that's not even half of what the other nigga made. That's fucking crazy. Wow. That's not the number I thought. When they said 8 figures, I thought it was gonna be like 10 or 12 or something.
$25 million. He had nothing left to prove, and at the end of the fight, he announced his retirement from the sport. This was the official end of Pretty Boy Floyd and the beginning of Floyd Money Mayweather, touting himself as a CEO and business tycoon. Well, it turns out that Floyd's retirement was just a way to avoid him fighting Oscar De La Hoya again. Oscar put a rematch clause in their contract, meaning Floyd...
Retiring so you don't have to do the rematch is fucking genius.
Run it back, but Floyd officially retired for 1 year and 1 day so he could fight someone else. Probably his one and only genius business move. In his next bout, Floyd knocked out Ricky Hatton in the 10th round in a match that earned him another $25 million. Now a position where he felt completely dominant over all his potential opponents, and now his only motivation to fight was based on how much money he could extract from the deal.
To our elders, new laws may ease your irregular slaves.
Could it be that for the first time, home holds more comfort than comfort?
We feel better. It feels like home
And they
again.
give me a price that I can't resist. He
I'm
gonna give me
afraid
that
of
kidney.
no spoiled
They gave me a
world.
price I couldn't resist.
The business. There has been strange things. Many Spanish
If there's a
troops
rematch clause,
raising
you
hand
can't
to
do it. We just have to negotiate terms to see.
I thought you said Spanish troops are now in ours.
That's what makes it so strange.
Are they secretly working for?
That's what we need to find out. I have one need. An informant has seen a man bribing soldiers in town. For whom?
I'll investigate.
We will have to give a better spot because in that situation,
Aren't you afraid?
so you're retiring, fighting other people, and choosing to fight you again just means you're probably going to make more money on the back end. It's probably true that he was also maybe afraid. Maybe that's true. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like he's the type to be afraid to fight. But I do think, I don't know if they ended up doing rematch, but I imagine the press looked way better. Had to get in there. Trainer Roger Mayweather thinks it will be hard to walk away from another huge win. Because he was here to Oscar injuring him. So he took a lot of hits in that fight?
Instead of fighting, Money Mayweather was now flaunting stacks of cash and purchasing luxury cars. It's evident Floyd knew how to count, but didn't really know how to save for the IRS. Mayweather paid $15.5 million in taxes for 2001 and 2003 through 2007, only after the IRS filed liens against him. And coughing up that amount of cash is not easy, even for someone like Floyd, which is why some suspected he might only be coming back to boxing for a payday.
You're a man of many things, but you're a master. I seem to be occupying my job, though. Yes, you often say, you're just a guy with a job. I have a job, though. So who would you fight next? And guess what? Your job don't pay like my job. Well, it's a bad job. Don't pay like my job. That brings me to another point. Do you need the I can make $20 million in 18 months because I want to. Because I want to come back and steal some more money. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I enjoy watching your fights. Okay, who might be next? It doesn't matter. All right, how about Manny Pacquiao? If he wanted, he can get.
Mayweather's next bout was against Manuel Marquez.
Why you gonna act on the ESPN guy, man? You're not gonna say nothing back to you, bro. Oh man, so pointed at.
IRS sent Nevada boxing regulators a levy notice in 2009 ordering that $5.6 million in unpaid taxes will be deducted
They can do
from the $1 million purse, which Mayweather agreed to, but this was nowhere near the end of his tax troubles. The IRS had Floyd Mayweather Jr. on the hook for $7.2 million in taxes from 2010, according to tax records.
There's a reason why friendships and tried to advertise within I Love It. The Green Cash Advance is part of the Kickoff family. Kickoff, as a larger company, the goal is to make financial security accessible to everyone. With these I Love It ads, we have a much longer window to captive user attention. We're able to get a lot more of these values points out, which also allows us to diversify. You didn't have to always switch.
Records that show Aileen as unresolved for the year he fought Shane Mosley. In that fight from 2010, Floyd won a staggering $40 million. It was these kinds of paydays that allowed Floyd to keep flaunting larger and larger stacks of cash and wearing expensive watches, all while his debts to the government were constantly creeping up behind him. However, Mayweather's tax attorney, Jeffrey Morse, told the Associated
Bro, he is a tax attorney. Has he been doing his job? It's like the 7th time in this 13 minutes so far he didn't have tax problems. What are you doing, bro? You had a tax attorney this whole time? How is that possible?
Press that the 2010 lien was no longer valid. There is no tax obligation outstanding for the 2010 tax year, Morse wrote, even though county court records still showed the matter is unresolved. Morse later told FightHype.com that Floyd's a savvy investor, and if he's investing money and getting a rate of return that far exceeds what he has to pay the IRS in interest, then any smart business person is going to take advantage of that deferral. Basically, they're trying to suggest that since the IRS charges a 7% interest rate on money owed, that Floyd was investing his money into things that were getting him more than a 7% return to essentially profit off not paying his taxes, and then just simply waiting until they essentially bang to get money from him. And although there are much better ways to increase business expenses and take some calculated losses to offset tax liabilities, it's not impossible that this is his strategy. But Floyd has...
I mean, that sounds good, but, brother, he's wasting his money on checks and all types of, like, just money gambling. Thanks. What is he doing? What could he possibly be investing in? And his returns were so good that it's worth just paying 7% on millions of dollars. What could you be so confident in? What return is that, bro? Yeah, I don't know. That kind of sounds like cap speak. Real estate? No, it's not. Real estate absolutely is not the answer.
Given any insight to convince anyone that he is a savvy businessman, he defaults to just saying he makes investments.
I mean, very, very
maybe like a really good hedge fund. Maybe. That's smart investments. Very, very smart investments.
But when you look at Floyd's very public spending habits into luxury cars, overpriced jewelry, private flights, it's hard to tell if avoiding taxes was a calculated investment strategy or simply someone who didn't want to write a very large check to the IRS. However, none of us would have really known about Floyd's money troubles if it weren't for his complicated friendship with 50 Cent. Because after Floyd refused to pay 50, he didn't hold back from exposing the Money Mayweather facade. In 2011, the friendship between Mayweather Jr. and 50 Cent.
You want a 50 face look like that, bro? You want to kill the cameraman.
And started to become more of an official business partnership when Floyd announced a film company called Mayweather Productions, using the infrastructure from 50 Cent's Cheetah Vision Films. The first movie was going to be an action film titled Tomorrow Today. 50 Cent was set to write and direct it, and shooting was planned for August 2011 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It came alongside a reported $200 million investment deal for Cheetah Vision to produce these 10 movies distributed. All of a sudden, they were constantly seen side by side in commercials, magazine covers, and formed TMT, which is an acronym for the Money Team. It seems like a fair assumption that
TMT. 50? He was part of that? Brother, I did not know this lore.
50 Cent had access to the entertainment industry, which Floyd presumably wanted to make money in, and then Floyd had access to the boxing industry that 50 Cent presumably wanted to invest in. Floyd said, as far as boxing, I think 50 is going to be involved with the promotion side. We might even have him fight on pay-per-view, but he is getting involved with boxing. Unfortunately, when Floyd was getting in trouble with the law, their partnership started to crumble. You see, Floyd had a bit of a history of violence outside of the ring. He was convicted in 2002 of misdemeanor battery stemming from a fight with 2 women at a Las Vegas nightclub. He received a suspended 1-year jail sentence and was ordered to undergo impulse control counseling. He was fined in Grand Rapids in February 2005 and ordered to perform community service after pleading no contest to misdemeanor assault and battery for a bar fight. He was acquitted by a Nevada jury in July 2005 after being accused of hitting and kicking his ex-girlfriend Josie Harris during an argument outside a Las Vegas nightclub. And a boxer having a short fuse is no surprise to most. Connect your tools, and Raptor.com handles the rest. Plan, execute, create, and scale your business. From energy when it comes to creatives. I mean, how could we forget his legendary crash out against 80-year-old Larry Merchant?
More aggressive and trying and taking advantage of winning some of the players. You never give me a fair shake. You never let you talk to her Jason. Somebody else give me an interview. Tell me what you're telling about. You never give me a fair shake. HBO need to fire you. You French. You got
Now, okay, all the other charges stuff before, we don't know about those. This right here could actually be justified, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yo, if somebody, I don't know, man, if I was an athlete and a media personality was chatting nonsense about me all the time, not giving me no credit for nothing, man, hating on me low-key, like professionally, hating on professionally, and then he was giving me an interview, I'm not gonna lie, I might do the same thing, but listen, now, I don't know if I would do that. I might just ignore the interview on some passive shit, but it's 50 years younger than me. Yeah, this gentleman from WWE
facing domestic violence charges again in 2010. He admitted to hitting his now ex, Josie Harris, and twisting her arm, and decided to take a plea deal, receiving a guilty verdict and spending 90 days in jail. Initially, 50 and Floyd continued like it was business as usual, hyping up fans regarding a possible fight with boxing legend Manny Pacquiao. 50 even started trolling by tweeting, "Pac Manny ducking because he know he gonna get his ass handed to him. I told Floyd beat his before he go to jail," holding stacks of money to show the money team was still locked in. 50 Cent was even there to pick up Floyd from jail with the rest of the Mayweather family after his sentence was up in the summer of 2012.
I'm gonna keep it a bunch, bro. You get out of jail, my nigga, I don't want 50 Cent picking me up. I want my best friend picking me up, or my mom, or someone, my business partner picking me up from jail, bro. Alright? What are we gonna do? Talk business on the way back? No, bro. Alright? I need somebody to actually give a fuck about me to pull up.
But when Floyd got out, everything changed. 50
What if your best friend is 50?
him is waiting up the next time he feels generous, and I don't have a lot, so I don't wait for nobody. It's just a space and time. I'll go and do what I have to do. I don't gotta sit around and wait for the next time he feels like giving somebody something. From there, 50 would reveal Floyd's extreme lack of business acumen as the reason why they had a falling out.
Now, what do you mean he changed his mind? As he was actually going into jail, he asked me to help him with Mayweather promotion, right? And as he actually got in and I took a look, I realized there is no Mayweather promotions. There's no LLC, there's no seal, it's not incorporated. It's the name. Yeah, that's just the name. Technically, Floyd is a Golden Boy fighter. Fights on every Golden Boy card. They do all the footwork on every showcase, and then they imprint the paperwork. They build the whole show. When he says helping with Mayweather promotions and it's not there, I go, okay, I know what he means. He wants me to put it together. So I do TNT promotions, I get it all the way together, sign actual fighters. I brought him over while Floyd was, responsible. When he comes home, there's the Let's Get Floyd Back in Pocket campaign that goes on, where, it's $300,000 chains being bought, buying a new Lamborghini and all these new things, and I'm sitting there going, yo, when you gonna give me the money? Because you're already invested. Right, then when you give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail.
Now, either 50 was being misleading on purpose, or he just kind of mixed up his words. He said Mayweather Promotions wasn't incorporated incorporated, which is just false. Public records and court filings from many years earlier already referenced Mayweather Promotions LLC, meaning the company did exist. What he could have meant was that Mayweather Promotions wasn't properly licensed as a promoter in Nevada, and that Floyd was essentially a Golden Boy Promotions fighter, which does seem to check out, because Golden Boy was the licensed promoter.
I mean, that's the same thing, though. Hold on, no, because earlier in the video, they said that he went from making 7 figures to 8 figures once he made his own promotion company. It sounds like he went from 7 figures to 8 figures once he joined another promotion company, because if his promotion company's not running the promotion, he's just getting a better split from another one. It's the same, it's just a better terms with a different company. So what is his promotion company doing? It's just like, what is the point of promoting a promotion company that's not actually running the promotion?
For all of Floyd's fights from 2007 to 2014, Mayweather Promotions was listed as the co-promoter. Now, I think it's a safe assumption that Golden Boy was the company that was working with the Athletic Commission, securing the venue, arranging insurance, coordinating production, negotiating television and pay-per-view distribution, overseeing ticket sales, and making sure that the event actually happened. Floyd, on the other hand, most likely was just a fighter, just like he had always been his entire career. And sure, he is technically independent and negotiating his pay on his own behalf, but the Mayweather Promotions being on the flyer makes it look like he was running this boxing empire. And that context matters when we talk about the formation of the Money Team, which was supposed to be a joint venture promotion.
Nice to have you here, Puzzles.
It is true that while Floyd was locked up, the Money Team had not been legally incorporated, and 50 Cent went through the process of setting up the legal entity. 50 even went further and started signing fighters to the promotion and wanted to start the process of setting up fights. Then Floyd would put up his half of the money that was invested, and then went on to tell 50 that he basically never asked him to do this joint venture in the first place.
When is he gonna say he wants to, to give me the other half? Well, I gotta ask you for. And then when we're talking over $2 million, it's about that. At that point, it was, that's that. So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell y'all to do that. I didn't tell you to do that. And I'm looking at him, and he looked in my face and he told me to do that.
And the big question is, why wouldn't Floyd want to go into business with 50? Like, where was the misunderstanding? 50 basically said,
first of all, it's abs. Yeah, that looks scrumptious. It's $2 million, man. Like, he probably spent $2 million on a watch since he was out of jail, right? It's like, where is the proper word is, man?
Because he's nothing more than a fighter, and then he doesn't know all of the complicated and detailed steps of what it actually takes to put on a pay-per-view event. But he takes it a step further and says Floyd doesn't do anything without the assistance of others. He doesn't even tweet.
That's not Floyd. Floyd don't tweet. Wow. That's not him on Instagram. He has somebody next to him. See, everybody around him is codependent, so they're going to roll with what he says regardless.
But do he tell them type this? You got to tell them to type this, though.
Like, they tell him what to say. Like, as soon as he get confused, he's going to go, okay, fine. Just go, call out. It gets confusing, and then he just goes, just call out.
Now, finding out a professional boxer pays
50 did not sign an NDA.
Is not surprising. Is that Floyd parades himself as a smart investor and savvy businessman, when in reality, 50 revealed that he just fights, spends all his money, then fights again to make the money back he just spent.
Him making a decision to not put up his half of the actual money is fine. It's kind of trapped in a regimen of fight, get the money, spend the money, fight. Fight, get the money, spend the money, fight. There's no investments, no income from anywhere outside of him fighting. I look forward to having him be involved in situations where he continuously have income, so he doesn't run into what so often fighters run into at the end of their career, not having any financial support or money around.
After cutting ties with Floyd, 50 Cent repeatedly hinted that he was doing business with Pacquiao, and even suggested that the two would work together, but no formal partnership ever emerged. So 50 resorted to doing what he does best. Perfect example of his way to touch T.I.'s wife Tiny at a red carpet event, and 50 Cent made a video pretending to call Mayweather and tell him to chill out because T.I. might get violent. Floyd responded to 50 in an interview where he said, "God has blessed me with an unbelievable talent, with fast feet, fast hands, unbelievable defense, and a very, very sharp mind. So I'm thankful for that. Of course, hip-hop artists, they come and go, but I'm still here."
The truth is hard. And it's the best. And we are. Sorry, see.
50 woke the next day and responded to Floyd's comments with one of his most iconic videos ever.
Woke up, I feel the computer said, Floyd said, T.I. Melly, I'm like, what is it? That's your first baby mama, Melissa, that took your fiance. She that nigga. Time internet business.
And exploded. The laughs coming. So in honor of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge trend, he decided to challenge Floyd.
Special ASLELS challenge for you, Floyd. We run a page of a Harry Potter book, nigga. I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want.
Viv sensed that Floyd might not be able to read the Harry Potter books, so he made some changes to his challenge.
If Floyd accepts the challenge, then he'll put it on the actual show, so you can read it on the show. Wonderful first. You can't pronounce those words in that Harry Potter book, so we're gonna let you read Cat in the Hat.
Sadly, Floyd never accepted the challenge. He responded with a picture of some multi-million-dollar checks saying, "Read this 70s."
It's not read. What costs you to make $3 of $1 million for charity? It costs you nothing, man. It costs you nothing, and it's such a fucking thing. You on the show and the red niggas challenging people. And generals from the business review or something like that, man. Harvard Business Review. I haven't been at university that long. That actually, I think, was one of the first times outside of music, like 50 Cent. I don't remember exactly when this happened.
$2 million. Over the years, 50 Cent continuously mocked Floyd's reading capabilities and intellect, writing out hilarious messages pretending to be Floyd, and 50's trolling was so devastating that to this day, people still make fun of Floyd for allegedly not being able to read. And while the insight that 50 gave us into Floyd's life and lack of business intellect is technically just hearsay, considering how bad Mayweather's finances are today, it seemed like 50 Cent was right all along.
Sketch text me saying, "Can I get a shout out on stream and a tone deal?" Shout out to Sketch. We'll work on that tone.
Floyd did another fight, securing a $32 million purse for a rematch against Marcos Maidana. And around this time, Instagram was reaching mainstream popularity, which was perfect for Floyd to constantly flex his wealth. He posts videos of himself working out while his paid entourage wanders around his gym and scrolls on their phones. He posts poor quality videos of him painting over watches that had enough diamonds and gems to buy a small suburban neighborhood. He'd show off his massive luxury car collection of customized Ferraris, Bugattis, and Lamborghinis. And in 2014, his company.
I'm glad that I'm not spending no more of my money on cars, no chat. I told you guys, man, if it's not the GRGT, I'm retired, man. I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking road cars here. I'm over that, man. GRGT's I'm interested in. That's facts.
Collection reached new heights after he purchased an over $50 million Gulfstream G650 nicknamed Air Mayweather, fully customized and branded with the Money Team logo. And leading up to his next super fight with Manny Pacquiao in 2015, he was eager to show off his custom-built Las Vegas home that he nicknamed the Big Boy Mansion. Stephen A. Smith from ESPN to do an MTV Crib-style tour to portray himself as one of America's greatest entrepreneurs.
A little bit over 20,000 square feet.
Grade 4 level. Why Mayweather? Seems appropriate that you would be living in Vegas. Mentality is always.
Did I just see 3 Bugattis?
That you would be living in Vegas.
Oh my God, is that 63 Bugattis?
Mentality is always. Smart.
Floyd's tour of his really seemed natural. It looked very rehearsed. Practiced everything that he said in this interview. He showed this wood chopping station outside of his house.
That's where it all started from. Chopping wood. Yeah, chopping wood. It's a method to how you chop. It's like
The hype surrounding his upcoming match was bigger than Hoya. With 57 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws, and 38 knockouts, Manny was a legendary matchup. However, Floyd was concerned that beating Manny, who had recently suffered from injuries and was way past his prime, wouldn't really benefit his legacy.
It's payday, though. You still care about the legacy.
if I beat Manny Pacquiao, you know what they're gonna say? You supposed to be you a bigger man. But then if I outbox him, say it's a woman fight.
And honestly, Floyd's not wrong here, because the truth is, he should have fought Pacquiao about 7 years earlier. Ultimately, Floyd did come out with a victory and secured another massive win, keeping his perfect 48-0 record. It really was the fight of the century, showcasing the offensive power of Manny and the legendary defense Floyd was famous for. But at the post-fight press conference, he had to remind everyone how well he invested his money.
As you can see, my employer is different.
The revenue generated from this fight clearly made it Mayweather Jr.'s purse. $80 million, walking away with around a total of $250 million. At this point, Floyd had already earned over $420 million from his boxing career. However, 2015 became one of his biggest financial years yet, with Mayweather earning $3 million and landing at the #1 on Forbes' world's highest paid athletes list. And yet, even with all of that money, he still wasn't paying his debts. The Jewelers Inc. filed a lawsuit against Mayweather Jr. as he reportedly bought a $3 million necklace in September of 2015, made up of 72 3-carat round-cut diamonds. The jeweler claimed he paid $1 million up front and later made 6 additional $100,000 payments, but stopped paying after May of 2016, leaving a $1.4 million balance. He was either
not cheap. You can do that. You can put
intentionally ripping off jewelers, or he couldn't afford it. But considering Floyd bought a second, smaller plane for his entourage to follow him wherever he went, it's likely that he had the money, he just didn't want to pay up. But it wasn't just jewelers. The IRS was missing some payments as well. ESPN reported that a federal tax lien showed Floyd owed the IRS $22.2 million.
It's a little fishy. If he made almost $200 million, how does he only owe? Was it in the same year? Was this the same year as his Manny Pacquiao fight?
$1 million in taxes from 2015. Even more suspicious, Mayweather tried to get the IRS to let him pay over time, and when that did not work, he went to the U.S. tax court asking for more time. He argued that he had substantial assets, and those assets were not available as cash. In other words, he might have had mansions, cars, watches, investments, but not enough liquid cash available at that moment to be able to pay the bill. The Guardian reported that Mayweather's petition said he had a major liquidity event coming in to pay the bills, meaning he was going to use the upcoming fight with Conor McGregor to pay his taxes. And this cycle of using big fights to pay his bills is exactly what 50 Cent accused him of doing years ago.
Stop that!
40 years of age. That's the only thing I remember about this.
From the very beginning, real fight fans looked at the McGregor vs. Mayweather bout as an obvious cash grab for both fighters. Floyd was a retired 40-year-old boxer, and Conor was not a boxer. The build-up was one of the most over-the-top and chaotic promotional tours in combat sports history, with 4 different massive press conferences where the two did these long, drawn-out speeches and stood toe-to-toe, seemingly pretending to hate each other. It was mildly entertaining, but mostly awkward and exhaustive.
Dana White there. What the hell is Dana White doing? Is he getting a class? Man, there's money there, man. Dana White is there too. What does he have to do with boxing?
Conor had absolutely no chance in the long run and was defeated via content. This was the second highest selling pay-per-view in history with 4.3 million buys, generating over $600 million.
What's the pay?
The commission announced that Mayweather reportedly earned around $300 million.
What's the pay for that though? He made how much for Fight Night? UFC Fighter? He made how much?
Watch the episode I put out last week with Adam, and if I remember, you'll see the same kind of intensity and dedication to excellence. Adam is driven to build a great product that serves his customers. You can launch on AppLovin in minutes. You set your own franchise. There's no complex setup, no expertise needed, and AppLovin scales quickly. AppLovin connects you to over 1 billion potential new customers inside most games. AppLovin allows you to capture undivided attention. AppLovin ads are full-screen video ads that are watched for an average of 35 seconds. Other businesses have seen immediate results, have scaled to hundreds of thousands of dollars of spend per day, and increased their revenue by millions. So you want to get started quickly before all your competitors are on AppLovin.
The safest fight he'll ever do.
$1 million in total from the fight. This was Floyd Mayweather's last professional bout, and without a guaranteed multi-$100 million payday in his future, he would need to control his spending or find other ways to make money. But as we know, Floyd always has some big investments he is working on.
My real estate portfolio is amazing. Of course, I have a strip club. Everybody watch you involved with a strip club. You know, I'm still coming in from real estate and the strip club. I look at it like this. I said, in the club, okay, the album. You know, it's very cheap club. Spend money like ass. We never go out of style.
Look at the edutainment he talking about right now, guys. Ass and pussy. What? You can invest your money in anything, bro. Asking why you picked that genre, gang.
However, one of these investments turned out to be legitimate fraud. Floyd jumped headfirst into the cryptocurrency craze. He promoted an initial coin offering called Centra Tech. Posting on social media, Centra...
That's such a work. That's like a world. Holy smokes, man. This is like winning. This is greatness in one photo. It's crazy.
The ICO starts in a few hours. Get yours before they sell out. I got mine. A few months later, the SEC alleged that Centra's founders had fabricated business relationships with major financial companies like Visa and MasterCard in order to raise millions from investors. The founders were eventually charged with fraud. Now, to be fair to Floyd, he wasn't accused of helping create the scheme, and during the ICO boom, countless celebrities and influencers were endorsing crypto projects that later collapsed. But again, if you're branding yourself as a financial genius and one of the smartest businessmen in sports, you'd expect a little more due diligence before attaching your name to an investment company asking the public for millions of dollars. He still did have to pay $100,000 in SEC fines for promoting the scam, but that's nothing for the chain. He paid $18 million for a Jacob & Co. watch containing 260 carats of emerald-cut diamonds.
By the way, guys, I have no problem with you. This is actually good for the economy. Just so I know when you see this sometimes, like it bothers you, like how can it be so wasteful? But it's good for everybody. Okay? The money goes to everybody else. If not, he held the money and all he did was keep it in his bank account. That sucks for everybody. Because he's just holding on to will, not trading to anybody else. Velocity of money is non-existent. So, like, you okay, do need rich people to spend money, but we need more Floyds out there. Really just, I don't shit. Zero for his own sake, but
His crypto schemes weren't over just yet. This time, he was straight up laughing in our faces. The most unpredictable and insane news was announced at the end of 2020. This year will be fighting a boxing exhibition, piggybacking on the successful Miller Jake Paul put into making boxing a globally recognized spectacle, Logan somehow struck a deal with one of the all-time greats. Heavily in Floyd's favor, Floyd reportedly secured a $10 million guarantee plus 50% of the pay-per-view upside. He also paid another $30 million in payments, which included Ethereum Max, or Emax. This point has absolutely no utility.
Get the fuck out of here,
Even Kim
bro.
Kardashian during the summer of 2021. Mayweather Jr. sported the Emax logo on his clothing leading up to and during the event. He even tried to say that it would be bigger than Bitcoin at the 2021 Bitcoin conference. It was booed relentlessly by
If you take your crypto advice from Floyd Mayweather, I don't know, do you deserve to lose money? Like, it's like, come on, man, like, it's certain things that should be really obvious.
The crowd.
I believe that's going to be, you know, another cryptocurrency that's going to be just as hard as Bitcoin someday. That's no different from Uber and Lyft.
Unsurprisingly, the coin that Mayweather was promoting went to zero almost immediately after it launched, and today, you can't even buy it. Later, Floyd was named in a class action lawsuit alleging that celebrity endorsements helped promote the Ethereum Max cryptocurrency in what investors described as a pump and dump scheme. And luckily, by the skin of his teeth, Floyd was not found liable for fraud. And while he didn't admit to intentionally misleading his followers to make some easy money with a crypto pump and dump, he did quite literally admit that the fight with Logan was a heist, aka stealing money out of anyone's pockets who thought this was a fair fight.
And then it was just a chance for me to do a heist. Let y'all know this. It was simple shit to say. At the end of the day,
Logan claims that Floyd still owes him money to this day.
I mean, Floyd Mayweather.
No, I think so much money should take for it.
Did you get paid for that?
He still how does he owe you money?
Why don't you just like, here's what happened.
He pre-sold the fight using my likeness to some company in, I think, Dubai or like the Middle East for $10 million cash. We ended up doing the fight in the States with a different company. That is the company that put on the fight. That is the company that paid me. But he sold our fight with my name and likeness to someone else in Dubai for $10 million cash. It's our fight, bro. Our deal was 50%. It's so old to me. So I got 50% of it. 50% of $10 million is 1.5.
Was he allowed to sell a fight to somebody? They don't even run the fight, and he still gets paid for it. Like, if I had to guess, then what kind of bozo in Dubai is paying out? Why would you pay that out?
With base 44, a simple sentence becomes your website.
Gotta wait till the nigga comes on.
After page, ready for business. Plug in what you need. Connect payments, sync calendars, and voila. Watch notifications fly in. Sales, bookings, noise. Edit? Well, everything. Drop the motion libraries. Keep your site more like. From header to footer. Every click tracks. Every action is index your domain.
So what's funny is Floyd didn't even deny it.
His brother said that you didn't pay him for the fight that y'all had together. You have to say that I
Now, in this particular instance, most people are on Mayweather's side. Anyone who knows boxing knows Floyd would never put himself in a position to lose his perfect 50-0 record, even if it was just an exhibition. Plus, most people don't have any remorse left for Logan Paul, so the fact that he's not getting his $1.5 million from Floyd, they just don't care. But Mayweather being rewarded with millions of dollars for intentionally misleading people would become a dangerous cycle that he was seemingly trapped in. After his multiple retirements from professional boxing and a handful of exhibition matches, Mayweather's ability to generate hype around a return to the ring became less and less exciting. Therefore, he needed to put his business skills to the test to see if he could actually generate some revenue. Mayweather was fitness. Gave his personalized training programs and lessons locations across the country will business for development by 2021. behind the scenes, both the business and its investors were losing millions of dollars every year. Balance sheets released by the SEC indicate a total net loss of $7 million in 2021 and 2022 on behalf of the business. This loss was directly tied to those who purchased franchising rights to run their own studios under Mayweather's brand. Multiple individuals reported investing upwards of $1 million into their franchises, ultimately seeing very little returns and closing down their locations. Of the 70 franchises open for business in 2023, only 26 remained operational by 2025. Getting $3 million in royalties. A lawsuit was filed on behalf of multiple disgruntled franchisees, alleging that the former athlete had intentionally misled them in their investment. Mayweather's lawyers claimed that he had little to no involvement in management, operations, or strategic oversight of the business.
That's stupid, bro. Like, when you took a risk and you became a franchisee, any business has risk. You lost, right? I mean, it doesn't sound like that's the way he misled you. It just sounds like you thought his name was going to be so strong that everybody was going to pull up to your little party once. I mean, unless he don't have much to do with that, bro. He just wanted to start a company. Somebody else probably know the work and put his face on it.
Business. They also imply that these individuals had exploited his name, image, and likeness for financial
I will
gain.
repeat.
This is
I need enough men to control all of it. Recruit the entire Spanish army. Yours in absolute discretion. Vasquez.
Vasquez. De Ferrer Merchant in Tunisia. Is he the company man? I must warn Agate and the smugglers.
Business, man. You can't get many. I mean, they're going to screw the business too. They can try and get whatever money they can try and get. But really don't make it right. It doesn't mean they're right. You're going to lose. It just sounds like they took a risk and they failed. And also, I mean, at this point, like, we're at, what, 2023? And you just gave too many people for you to put your money in there. Like, if you did enough research before spending your millions, you would have known maybe not to trust everything he says.
His gym, his franchise, that he got them to buy in the first place, was named after him.
So, Patrick CC did all this research for a fucking YouTube video, bro. You couldn't do this research so that you could save yourself millions of dollars? I don't know.
Of course, they're using his name and likeness. Things only got worse when one location's employees staged a protest in response to not getting paid. Rather than reconciling the issue for those affected, Floyd was out buying a $200,000 watch with a bad check the very same day. But of course, he didn't know it was a bad check, and they had no intentions to defraud the jeweler. Floyd will often boast about his billion-dollar real estate portfolio, which allegedly includes 9 skyscrapers located in New York City. While this claim has never been fully debunked, it also hasn't been substantially verified. In fact, all signs point to this being a massive exaggeration. Floyd has publicly tied himself to the One Vanderbilt, implying in 2018 that he was directly responsible for the building's construction. In reality, the building...
I'm not going anywhere. No, I'm not within a square mile of a building he's responsible for building. Now, if he's responsible for promoting it, then I'm cool with that. Why would I want a boxer's hands on the fucking building I'm living in, bro? He's not an engineer. Who does that sound good to, bro? I want the best architects and engineers on the case, not the best boxers.
Is owned in a joint venture with multiple ownership groups. It appears that Floyd may own shares of one of the companies involved in the deal, but he certainly does not possess 100% ownership, which makes you wonder, is he blatantly lying and over-exaggerating, or does he genuinely believe that he owns these buildings? He also claimed that he owns 62 apartment buildings in Upper Manhattan. Floyd directly stated that he possesses 100% ownership.
I know, but you got, okay, so I'll tell you how buildings work, right? Buildings are all owned by somebody. Those owners of the building collectively get together and make the rules of the building. They end up being a condo board. Any kind of business, even condos, it is a business because they collect fees. They have a board. If the board is incompetent, you're going to have a horrible time living in that building. If you live in a building and you have a you know what it's like, right? You don't want a bad board. In fact, when I sold my condo, the main question the owner had, I didn't even think to ask when I bought it, only had to do with the board, how they spent their money, what the fees were, who's on the board, etc., etc.
When announcing the acquisition, putting up $402 million of his own money through his investments in bottom properties. However, weeks after the announcement, official ownership had never been transferred to Floyd. When this was revealed in an article published by Business Insider, Floyd Mayweather filed a $100 million defamation lawsuit against the establishment. Floyd likely hoped that this would pressure Business Insider into retracting.
Independency is a disease that can be cured.
The article did, and then the lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice shortly after. Meanwhile, Floyd continued to give more and more reasons to doubt his standing as a successful entrepreneur. Business Insider revealed in a subsequent article that Mayweather was taking out multi-million-dollar loans while defaulting on crucial payments for his many investments. Homes he owned were being seized due to unpaid property taxes, and lawsuits were filed after he skipped out on paying his private jet's fuel bills. The article also revealed that the courts had ordered Mayweather to pay out $2.4 million after skipping out on a public appearance he had already collected payment for. As if that wasn't bad enough, he had delayed paying the settlement, compounding interest, and the total fee to over $3 million. Lies and bad business deals Floyd created was crumbling around him. And to make matters worse, the one man he could go to for anything financial or business related was about to become his number one enemy. Jonah Reschnitz is Floyd's former financial advisor, and he once said, "I trust Jonah. Just 10%, 20%, 100%. Only a year after expressing this sentiment, Jonah became the scapegoat and defendant in a $175 million lawsuit filed by Floyd himself. The suit alleges that Jonah had misled and lied about business deals he was ultimately invested in. According to Floyd, when he claimed to have purchased 62 apartment buildings in Manhattan, he wasn't just blowing smoke, but rather he had been taken advantage of by Jonah. Conveniently, Jonah is allegedly responsible for it all. Bad checks, the unpaid jet fuel bills, the insane claims of owning New York City skyscrapers. Floyd claims these were all Jonah's predatory business methods. Floyd also claims that Jonah had used $100 million worth of jewelry as collateral to take a $13 million loan behind the back of his client. Not only did Jonah deny these allegations, he wrote receipts in an exclusive interview with YouTuber Spencer Cornelia.
Around August 2025, Floyd needed cash money, so he decided to start pawning his jewelry. Here's a text on August 25th, 2025 of Jonah sending Floyd an image of his watch and the word loan below. That represents that watch as being within the group that was being pawned. Here's the second image sent on that day. The top image is a collection of watches that were grouped together for a November loan, and that many had been returned after the balance was paid down. Here's the next message of another collection of watches that were used for a loan. The image on the left is an exhibit Floyd included in the complaint. Within this list are 4 of the watches you see in the text message on the right that were included in the group of watches that were pawned. This indicates he continues to lie about not knowing that his watches were getting pawned for a loan to fund his lifestyle.
Text messages also show Floyd directly acknowledging the $13 million. The majority of the balance had to be paid by pawning off watches he used as collateral. Now, there's nothing wrong with Floyd figuring